Welcome back, Patriots, and Happy New Year. It is officially 2025, and well, I thought, we would take the day off, but no. We had, allegedly, a terror attack taking place here in New Orleans. Last night, this morning, however you want to phrase it, and we're going to be watching a lot of Fox News. We're going to be watching a lot of interviews that have already taken place. Look, I hate to say this, man. For all us Patriots that have been in here for the last 2 years, have we not been covering this? Have we not been saying that this was going to happen? I hate to say it. I do. For the members, we have a members only segment of our program that we did upload about 2 weeks ago. Everybody that watched that has a badge next to their name. Look, that is not something you want to come on and say, oh, well, I told you, I said it was going to happen. 1,000 terrorists at least. Do you want to know how spot on we were, you guys? Right here. This is why you want to become a member, not to take a terrible event and plug a membership. But what I'm saying is that we talked about this to the point where we said that ISIS were going to be the ones that were responsible for what's coming up here. They're not done. Oh, no. This is folks, this is just to bring awareness. They're not done yet. We saw from codename Superbad, CIA terrorist targeter, that they're looking at not just U.S. embassies from around the world of ours and our allies, but they're also talking about hitting the Capitol. There's a lot of stuff that's taking place right now, and a lot of alarm bells were going off, according to FBI Director for Christopher Wray, years ago. How are they phrasing it? We've never seen anything like this in our lifetimes. These people were around working for 9/11. And they said, this is nothing close to what we saw on 9/11. This is far out there with the alarm bells and the sirens that are going off. And what has Joe Biden allowed to happen over the last 3-4 years? Massive illegal immigration taking place in this country. And now we got to deal with this crap where people are dead, people are shot, officers are running to the scene and getting shot themselves. Well, the scumbag's dead. So let's break this down. Patriots, Happy New Year. Look, I'm sorry we got to do the news this way, but I said this is going to be going on for 4 years, man. We're not even saluting all you Patriots. So no barriers in New Orleans sounds like a setup. Happy New Year, Patriot fam. Good to see you, Eric. Thank you so much, sir, for your always your support for the Bald Brad Show. Let's look into this a little bit here, folks. Let's break it down. And we got a lot of, like I said, we got a lot of stuff here. We're not going anywhere for quite some time. So if you're only in here to say hi and bye, I get it. But we're going to be in here for a while. The suspect who allegedly carried out the terror attack in New Orleans, French Quarter, early on Wednesday morning, had an ISIS flag with him. And what you're seeing in the images is they wrapped up the flag because they didn't want anybody to spark allegations, right? The conspiracy theories. The news comes after FBI said in a statement that the incident was being investigated as an act of terrorism after the suspect rammed a white pickup truck into a crowd of people and then got out and opened fire at the police before he was killed by law enforcement, which I will show the image on X. Will probably get removed off YouTube, but really, who gives a crap now? I would also like to point out, whenever there's some sort of mass shooting or mass killing, the left will always talk about banning firearms, right? We need to talk about common sense, gun laws, and reform. Are we supposed to ban vehicles now? Because this is the second time this has happened in like a month. We have this one in New Orleans, and I forgot where the other one was at most recently, where the guy plowed through a bunch of people. And I said the exact same thing. Are we supposed to ban vehicles now? But the left won't say that, right? Because there is no linear logic with them. At least 10 people were killed in the attack and 35 more were injured. We have a lot of updates here, guys. They just blew up like 2 explosives, just a heads up. That was breaking right before I went live. Like I was watching it as my seconds were ticking down at my clocker. He was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to have rented. And we are working to confirm how the suspect came into possession of the vehicle. An ISIS flag was located in the vehicle. And the FBI is working to determine the subject's potential associations and affiliations with the terror organizations. I also like to point out this guy had multiple people working with him as well. Bonkers. Is identified as a person as a U.S. citizen from Texas, allegedly. Weapons and a potential IED were located in the subject's vehicle. Other potential IEDs were also located in the French Quarter. The FBI special agent bomb technicians are working with local law enforcement partners to determine if any of these devices are viable, and they will work to render those devices safe. Now, they've already blew up a few and a couple, so why don't we get to that really quick, where we had live an explosive go off here, and I believe it was CNN that was covering it. I'll make sure I cue it up correctly here.
Just detonated something. A state police trooper about 90 minutes ago. Whoa, they just detonated something. A state police trooper about 90 minutes ago saw a suspicious package. Because of that, he notified Special Command. They brought the Special Command unit out here. They brought the bomb squads out here. Let me just point this over here now. It looks like NOPD is now rummaging through trash cans looking for maybe more suspicious packages. This is a heavy NOPD presence now, and they are now scouring the area looking for, it looks like, packages, devices, anything that looks suspicious in this area with the flashlights coming down the street. It sounded like they detonated some type of small device. We heard fire in the hole, and then we heard a small explosion here. It sounded like a loud firecracker going off.
Yo, come, I don't mean to be an a-hole here, but does it look like they're really looking? Why the hell are you not on your hands and knees looking under the vehicles? I mean, look at this guy here.
More suspicious packages.
Watch this guy look in here. Just take a peek. Watch
now, and they are now.
Yeah, nothing here. Move on. There's only two options here. The trash can was empty, or it was so empty where he didn't need to rifle through it or rummage. What the fuck? I feel like, hey, hey, they're looking. Okay. Everybody get out there and make it seem like you're doing something. So let's break this down a little bit here. You have Trump responding, where he responded to the terrorist attack in New Orleans French Quarters, and Trump's statement comes after the man rammed his truck, which we went to. Trump said this: when I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover this act of pure evil. So that was Trump's statement. What about Biden? Where's Joey? Where's Joey? Well, I have Joey's statement, and that's right here.
Any more information you can offer?
You've all got my statement. I'll have more to say in the next hour or so following what's going on in New Orleans. I'll be happy to do that.
Do you understand that the person crossed the border?
I'm not going to comment on any specific yet at all. I've contacted every agency in the federal government as well.
Oh, come on. Give me 1 second, folks. I'll make sure I get this queued up for you. Hang in there with me. There we go.
I'll be happy to do that.
Do you understand that the person crossed the border?
I'm not going to comment on any specific yet at all. I've contacted every agency in the federal government as well as the state. They're all coordinating to get to the bare facts. We know what the facts are.
Can you say if you're a foreigner or if you're domestic?
I'm not going to say anything until I get all the facts in front of me.
Has the suspect been identified? Has the suspect been identified?
Again, I'm not going to comment till I speak to the group later. I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Jeez. I was struggling to turn away from the press. So we got a lot of things taking place here. That was Donald Trump. And we got some updates here for all of you. Truck used in New Orleans terror attack came through southern border in November. Okay, here we go. The truck that was used to commit a terrorist attack in New Orleans French Quarter early Wednesday morning reportedly came through the U.S. southern border in November. News from Fox initially reported that the truck entered the U.S. 2 days ago, but later updated their story to report that the truck crossed the southern border on November 16th. The suspect plotted the people while driving a white pickup truck. The suspect got out and allegedly started shooting at police before he was immediately killed by law enforcement. At least 10 people were killed in the attack and 35 more were injured. They're addressing it as a terrorist attack. Moments later, a local FBI spokesperson at the press conference said it was not a terrorist attack. So they were going back and forth, reeds in the wind, lack of communication once again. It's always typical. However, FBI released a subsequent statement clarifying that the incident was being investigated as a terrorist attack. So again, the mayor comes out and says, oh, there's a terrorist attack that took place. Then an FBI spokesperson said, no, it's not a terrorist attack. And then everybody was confused and trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Is it is or isn't? And well, the FBI then released a statement. This morning, an individual drove a car into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing a number of people and injuring dozens of others, the FBI said. The suspect then engaged with local law enforcement and is now deceased. The FBI is the lead investigative agency, and we're working with our partners to investigate this act of terrorism. There you go. New Orleans Police Department Chief Annie Kirkpatrick said the driver was trying to run over as many people as he possibly could. Terrible, just terrible stuff. It was also then further reported that the driver drove past barricades. That was some of what you guys brought up and asking about. How are there not barricades set up? Drove past barricades to get to the crowds. The security barriers installed in 2017 to prevent terrorist attacks in the area were reportedly in the midst of being replaced. Odd timing. As if maybe they knew that they were being replaced. FBI New Orleans special agent in charge, Duncan, said at least one improvised explosive, there you go, IED was found at the scene, but authorities had not confirmed it was a viable device. They haven't confirmed really much, folks, really much at all. So here is the mayor earlier on talking about kind of what took place.
Good morning. First of all, we do know that the city of New Orleans was impacted by a terrorist attack. It's all still under investigation. You'll hear more after me. However, I have been in direct contact with the White House, with Governor Landry, and of course a unified command who is present here. What I'm asking at this time are prayers for those who have lost their lives in the city of New Orleans due to this tragedy. In addition to that, I'm asking the public to stay clear of 8 blocks around Bourbon Street. Stay clear from Bourbon Street, 8 blocks around. Very active, and again, a unified command is in place right now. I'm going to ask Chief Kirkpatrick to give you an update. You're then going to hear from our agent in charge.
What's going on here? I got Google Fiber, man. This thing has freaking insane internet. They're trying to stop us.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So I'm going to give you as much of the information I possibly can. We are going to give you an update a couple of times today. So we will give you just the basics this morning, all right? We had this event started at about 3:15. It did involve a man driving a pickup truck down Bourbon Street at a very fast pace, and it was very intentional behavior. This man was trying to run over.
Look, I'm not trying to be. There's a lot of stuff going on here. This is the chief of police.
As many people as he possibly could. It was not a DUI situation. This is a more complex and more serious based on the information we have right now. With respect to numbers, we have right now And as you already know, this could change throughout the day. We do know that there are 26 injured people who are at UMC Hospital.
Okay, so this is an old update, obviously, but the point is that that they were coming out talking about this whole thing pretty early on, which you got to give it to them. They were giving us some information as time progresses. We also have more information coming out here, as of like literally right now. This is live from Fox regarding this whole thing.
As the chief of police of this city has been tried by fire before. But fire purifies. Fire makes things stronger. We have a plan. We know what to do. We are going to get these people. There is a path forward. Very pleased that we will be back to having a wonderful game tomorrow night. New Orleans police have proven their ability to make the city safer. Just 2 years ago, we were the murder capital of America. Today, from that time 2 years ago, we have driven our murder rate more than 50% down. So we have a track record. But this is different because it's terrorism. Now, I want to thank all of our law enforcement partners. You're fabulous, and we appreciate the partnership. But last night, 3 of our officers engaged this terrorist who shot at them. 3 of the officers returned fire.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Those officers
that's
did not
some
run
heroic
in
stuff,
fear.
seriously.
I liked what the mayor said this morning. New Orleans police and all law enforcement is built. We are built for dealing with evil, with things that would cause us others to be in fear, but instead our officers, and last night NOPD particular, stood strong. They did not.
All right, she is correct there, but I want to get to some other news. We'll keep this going, folks. We're not going anywhere. I'll come back if there's any updates on that. But I did want to show you kind of what things look like. Look, I have to say this. If you don't like graphic images, well, maybe now it's time to turn away. The dude got lit up. A lot of bullet holes in him. He's dead. So we'll kind of flag that really quick. If you didn't see it, well, you can rewind the video as of right now. But here's a blurred out image that I could show and kind of hold up for quite some time. Looking at the guy, it looks like he's wearing camo. A lot of his shirt was camo. There is a picture of him, which I'm not going to give him the dignity of showing. As I've mentioned, we talked a lot about this over the last few years, and I'm keeping it together. And the reason why I'm keeping it together is because I don't have all the facts yet. But when it smells like crap, it usually is crap. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of them are saying it's coming out with a terrorist attack, right? Okay. How did he get here? How did he get here? And you didn't know anything about this? Really? Because a dude in a closet, yes, we do the show from a freaking closet. How the hell am I able to get this information and the FBI, CIA, all the 3-letter agencies just don't have a clue? So here's a little bit of a sneak peek. It's kind of long, but it's only screen grabs of super name, or code name rather, Superbad, from a CIA targeter, Sarah Adams, right here, who we've covered, talking about how this is coming. It's quite lengthy. We'll kind of skip around a bit, but here we go.
Suicide bombing in the United States ever. There's the Nashville guy who did the strange, blew himself up in the car early in the morning when no one was around. That's kind of it.
The AT&T building.
Yep. So we have not had a man walk up to a building with a suicide vest on in the United States. Americans don't understand this. Al-Qaeda knows this, right? So this is new and innovative, especially now. You don't have to walk upside of the building. You can walk in the building because of the advancement of the vest. The other thing is, in the United States, we haven't had Fideian attackers. Do you know what this is? I mean, you'll know when I explain it. If you fought in, like, I don't know, Ramadi, Fallujah. You've seen these. So the concept is the terrorist fights to the death. So he's not exactly a suicide bomber, but he will fight till either all of us are dead or all of his people are dead, right? So this can go on for multiple days, like the plan was for Mumbai, for example. So we think it's going to be a swarming attack, right? Multiple different attacks at one time across multiple cities. We think there will be suicide bombers just because some of the attackers went through suicide bomber training and they have these vests, right?
The vests that she's talking about are updated ones. It's ones that can't be sniffed out by dogs, and it could pass through metal detectors. That's what she's talking about.
And then we think there's these Fideian attackers who will carry on until they're killed. The Fideian matters, right? I was watching, I want to say it was like 8 months ago.
Let me just rephrase that. So these guys are trained, and we already overlaid the video of their training, and they are going to fight until they're killed.
Yes.
There's no stopping them.
Exactly. And that matters, right? So I was watching this video, and it was a suicide bombing in Kabul years ago. And it was the bomber blew up, okay? And then everyone starts moving in. The first responders move in, right? And then another guy walks in and blows up. We know.
So I'm going to give you the details of what she talked about in multiple episodes. What she talked about was the Al-Qaeda, Taliban, ISIS, these terrorist organizations are kind of basically working together. And what's happening with these terrorist organizations? Well, they've been giving or receiving funding from the Biden administration. We got a lot of people watching, in the hundreds, by the way, in this podcast. Shout out to all the Patriots. And I hate to give you this kind of information on January 1st, New Year. Joe Biden. This is all public information, by the way. This is not satire. This is not a joke. Right now is not a time to be joking. Is giving the Taliban, people that we fought against for 20 years, these families that are martyrs, is what they're calling them. We're giving them $87 million a week. And that's just the money that's flying into Kabul. Yeah, no. You're like, how does this guy in a small channel in the closet getting this information? From the CIA, from open source documents. I'm going to say this again because it seems like it's so fictitious, it's head spinning. Just the money flying into Kabul is $87 million, meaning we are giving terrorists, people that fund terrorism, more than $87 million a week. We are funding their administrative services, like their administrative buildings, up to $3 million to $10 million a week. Oh, no, you thought we were done? Of course we're not. Remember that money that was supposed to be frozen that was going to the Iranian government for humanitarian aid? Yeah, that was unfrozen secretly. We also covered that. That's why you want to join us here on the Bald Brad Show, folks. This is the stuff that we cover that I don't know if you're getting anywhere else, but we're going to bring it to you here. We do a podcast each morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We'd love for you to join us Monday through Friday. We ain't going anywhere. We got a lot of stuff to cover because there's also a Tesla explosion. Now, I would take this with a grain of salt right now, but it is happening. But we've seen these Teslas. This is a Cybertruck, it looks like, going on fire. Now, is this something that's terrorist related? I'm not sure. But a Tesla Cybertruck did catch fire and exploded outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas today, about a few hours ago. The incident led to the evacuation of the hotel and has been declared an active crime scene by local authorities. So that's what that looks like. Everybody's posting on X right now. Like, Brad, I want to get a good image of it. Well, here you go. Rip to the headphones. Sorry for that. But that thing's going to be burning for quite some time. It is a Tesla. Well, we all know how hard that is to ultimately put that fire out. Is this terrorist related? I don't know. Is it a weird coincidence? Absolutely. Always has everybody's antennas going up. The fact that it's outside Trump's hotel. And you have this whole debacle going on in New Orleans right now. Let's get to some more updates here from Fox. I guess a major breaking portion of this is that Fox is reporting that the man who committed this atrocious terror act crossed into the U.S. from Mexico via Eagle Pass 2 days ago. Well, why is that such big news? Well, if you recall, Eagle Pass was one of the main points of entry for a lot of these illegal immigrants that Joe Biden was just allowing to flock into the interior of the country. Now, here's the thing that we got to be aware of is what type of work is the Biden-Harris administration going to do, as well as the Democrat Party, in trying to keep a lot of this under wraps, because of, well, they allowed 10 plus million into the interior of the country, known terrorists. You got sex traffickers, drug trafficker, violent gang members that want to cut your head off and use your freaking head as a Super Bowl. All these people, that's not a joke, by the way. People think I just throw shit out. I don't. That's a real thing. These people will take out your teeth and wear it as a damn necklace and earrings if they had a chance. This is the stuff that Joe Biden's allowing to happen. And now you have this taking place. Allegedly, this guy was a U.S. citizen. I don't know. We'll kind of see what unravels here as time goes on because it's early.
According to federal sources, the suspect drove a truck with that Texas license plate, okay? So this is just coming into our newsroom. This is from Griff Jenkins and David Spunt working their federal sources on this. The suspect drives that truck with a Texas license plate right through Bourbon Street. According to their sources, to Spunt and Jenkins, this person came through Eagle Pass, Texas 2 days ago, okay? So we're going to leave that up on your screen. And these are just those new...
That was the part that they updated, though. Remember, they changed that. It says 2 days ago. That's why we got to keep bringing you the facts. They're saying November 19th-ish was when he actually came in. There's some cell phone video of what took place as well. Viewer discretion is advised. If you're somebody that's weak, then don't watch this. But this is what the scene looked like. Looks like maybe some almost nudity, so careful. People being resuscitated. God awful, man. God awful. Somebody said it. This is Biden's America. Yeah, no, this is Democrats, you guys. This is Democrats.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Holy shit.
So that looks like the suspect's truck. I haven't seen this video, by the way. That is the suspect's truck. And that looks like the police are trying to resuscitate him. And that fool's dead and gone. Yeah, no, they blasted that guy. And in my opinion, they probably didn't put enough bullets into the guy. I didn't see enough. I would have liked a lot more rounds. And I want to give a shout out again to the police because they ran towards the incident. There is a video clip, if I can find it, of the police hearing the gunshots or seeing what's going on and running towards, what was taking place. So if I could find that, I'll make sure I show that to all of you. But if you're just tuning in and you enjoy getting the news, we'll hit that like and subscribe button. I wish I had more positive information to throw at you, but let's go back live here to Fox and see what's going on with this chief police. Looks like she's taking questions.
Patrol cars out there as a hard target, as well as with barriers. Now, I want to share with y'all, if you did not know, that this particular terrorist drove around onto the sidewalk and got around the hard target, where he did have a car there. We had barriers there. We had officers there, and they still got around.
Whoa! Hold on a second, folks. That Tesla? What the dude, watch this explosion. Maybe I'm wrong. Hey, if anybody knows anything about electric cars, is this normal? Watch this thing explode.
Copy.
I don't know anything about electric cars, but dude, do they just explode like that? I mean, because batteries are very combustible. Yeah, batteries can explode, but damn, man. That's just so odd that it's right at Trump's tower, right? I mean, right at the front door there. I'm not saying anything regarding that one, but we all know what's taking place in New Orleans. That's for damn sure.
And the FBI is in charge of it. When they clear it, and it does not become an active crime scene anymore, we're going to open it up.
Potentially.
Olivia Snow with Fox 8. Can we ask about this military police presence that you want to call it? Is this a private security like Blackwater? Also, would that be a first that a private security firm is mobilized to supplement local and state law enforcement?
No. This is our National Guard. These are our citizens that we bring in. It's a military police company that we recognize we need some more resources. We need some more boots on the ground because, again, what we're doing now is twofold. We've got an active investigation and we've got enhanced security. Before this event, we were just enhancing and working on security. So we brought some additional resources.
Jesse Kirsch with NBC News. Thank you for holding the press briefing. I just want to clarify something first. You're talking about bollards that are being repaired. Talk about a lift gate that are replaced and then a lift gate that's not been working. Was there a vehicle in place of that lift gate last night? Were there things in place of those bollards which are being repaired?
Sure, the chief spoke to the plan in place, and that is yes.
That was indeed.
So anything that is currently in the midst of being repaired had backup replacement?
It had vehicles and officers were there where all of those ballasts have been. We had that. We knew. So we did have it. And like I said, in this particular case, terrorists just went all the way around up onto the sidewalk.
And for the lift gate, what about for the lift gate? Was there a vehicle like backing in and out to block that lift gate area, or was that just down and open? Because that's what we've heard from witnesses.
Captain, the reason I'm calling the captain, he's the captain over that district, and that is a question I'm going to let him address for you.
Big dog, dude.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Captain LeJean Roberts of the 8th District. Yes, we did have strategically placed right in front of the wedge, preventing access onto the roadway.
And in terms of the framework of security that was already in place on Bourbon Street, I know this is an ongoing project of improvement, but with how that was all aligned, was someone getting up on a sidewalk considered impossible or nearly impossible, or was this not something you expected you would have to account for?
Of course, it wasn't something we expected to account for. The bollards they're actually wedges. They're strategically placed 5 locations throughout the French Quarter on the roadway. This particular terrorist drove onto the sidewalk behind the police car to gain access to the 100 block of Bourbon Street.
So if you're worried about someone ever driving down Bourbon Street, why weren't you worried about someone driving up the sidewalk in the same way, or at least bracing for it in the same way? For all
Okay. All right, look. We can go on what ifs forever. This is evil. And that guy could have easily gone down the sidewalk of Canal Street, where there were a ton of pedestrians on there as well.
And there are
that's right.
on some sidewalks, so that's I'm
right.
just asking.
Hold on a second. We gotta move on. Chelsea, go ahead.
Just want you to know, however, we recognize, I said earlier, that where there are defects in this system, we are going to be transparent, and we are going to address them with the city and make sure that we fill those gaps as best we can. Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea Brazen with Axios. I have a question just about sort of ongoing public safety today. Special Agent mentioned 2 possible IEDs. Were those in the same location? Should residents in the French Quarter or elsewhere be concerned about potential other situations?
The 2 IEDs, they were in different locations, and what we've done in conjunction with our local and state partners, we've gone through and done a sweep to identify anything that we thought was suspicious, and we have not. However, as I said before, if the public sees something, please reach out to us. That way we can go through and verify that we did not miss anything. But we conducted initial sweeps, I think, starting shortly after our initial
so I'm going to thank you, Agent. I do want to share that we have a plan, and we have been implementing that plan. One of those plans.
Don't do this to me. I changed the bit rate just so we can maybe get a little bit more cleaner video from Fox over here. It's not me, you guys. Again, I have Google Fiber. This stuff is freaking insanely good.
Officers out there as a grid, walking down the streets, every street in the French Quarter, looking for suspicious packages, bags, ice chests, you name it. And they have been walking it as a grid.
What if it's not just there? What if it's just out here too?
And all the accesses into the Superdome. Part of the safety plan
I want to cover that Superdome because we have updates right here for all of you. The Super Bowl is postponed by officials. So we have this news breaking right here. And maybe I'll try to see if I can cut that off just a little bit for all of you right there. So the Super Bowl in New Orleans has been postponed just hours before kickoff on Wednesday after at least 10, or sorry, Super Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, forgive me. At least 10 people were killed and dozens were injured in what federal officials are investigating as an act of terrorism. All-State Sugar Bowl CEO Jeff Hundley spoke at a press conference with local and federal officials on Wednesday afternoon to confirm that the college football playoff quarterfinal game between Georgia and Notre Dame will be postponed for 24 hours. The postponement follows reports that the Superdome, the home of the New Orleans Saints, was initially placed on lockdown for security sweeps, and the people with officials inside the stadium were told not to come on site until further notice. So that's breaking for you all as well within the last, I don't know, what is this, 22 minutes ago? We also have other updates here where Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry issued an emergency declaration on Wednesday ordering Louisiana National Guard to work with federal authorities in the wake of the Bourbon Street attack. My fear is that, well, yeah, they got you all focused on this area now. What about the other areas? The Louisiana National Guard will work with New Orleans Police Department, the Louisiana State Police, and the FBI. The declaration will allow our federal, state, and local partners to bring all the resources necessary to get this city safe. And it's important for our citizens and guests of this state to know that we are doing everything we can to secure this safety in the city. What about the safety that's, or lack thereof, that's been going on for the last 4 years, where we're just allowing people to pour into the interior of the country? Now, again, allegedly, this guy had a U.S. citizenship from Texas. I don't know what to believe because, again, we showed the CIA terrorist targeter, Sarah Adams, codenamed Superbad, that's talked about the fact that with all this funding and everything that the Biden administration is giving to Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, right, all this military-grade equipment we left behind that's being sold off in the black market, which is also funding terrorism, that these people are making, I don't want to say legitimate because they are fraudulent passports, but there's a lot of new Al-Qaeda camps that are arising, that are utilizing new terrorists that aren't on the terror watch list. So even if we did apprehend them at the southern border, they have a legitimate passport and they're going by some fictitious name that they didn't even have in their home country. Not to mention, we have people that should be tried for murder in their home country that are being allowed into our country with a fake passport, with a fake name, and just leaving their ID when they enter. It's bonkers, man, what the CIA knows. And they're lying to all of us, which is crazy. And people are saying in the chat, and rightfully so, I see you, that this is going to be going on. This is the next 4 years. I've been saying for the last 3.5 years that if something happens under the Trump administration, well, guess who they're going to blame? Donald Trump for all this. Not Joe Biden and the Democrat Party for allowing this to happen and not want to secure a border for the last decade, starting in 2016 when Joe Biden was rummaging around like an aimless idiot. But you also had Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer fighting with Donald Trump, trying to get a border wall built, and they wouldn't allow him, going, well, we don't have the money, Donald. We don't have the money. And Trump's like, I'll do it for $3 million. Just give me 3 million, maybe billion. I don't know. We don't have the money. But all of a sudden we have 60 billion going to Ukraine, another 6 billion going to Ukraine just as of like 2 days ago. Yeah, all of a sudden we have all this money. It's amazing. Unbelievable.
And this is our live coverage of the ongoing investigation into that terrible terror attack in the early hours of New Year's Day in New Orleans. 10 people killed, confirmed killed. We just heard from the police chief there. Others are apparently fighting for their lives in the hospital right now. Let's bring back in Paul Morrow, Fox News contributor, former NYPD inspector, and an attorney, of course. Paul, what did you make of the news conference there? I was very interested to hear them repeatedly refer, or at least imply, that there are several other suspects here.
Yeah, that was the main takeaway, I think. And they did not caveat that, although they only seem to have indications of the fact that there are others involved. But the fact that they would come out so strongly and say, public, help us, lets me know that they right now might not have anything solid, at least as they went to press. But you can guarantee that they are scraping very hard at that. The way these things work now is that you work backwards. You want to see associations. My gut tells me they're seeing some associations. And Senator Kennedy's language seems to imply to me that he feels maybe there was a footprint that could have been picked up. If there are that many people involved, usually there's some indicia of a cell. There's always fraying at the edges. Certain things get out. And I'm wondering, and this is just speculation, I want to be clear, but given his body language and his language at the lectern, I'm wondering if they had some indicia, if there was something on the radar screen that maybe somebody wishes had been followed up. These things are very, very difficult to prevent. They always look good in 20/20 hindsight, but it sounds like we may discover there's a lot more going on here than was initially indicated.
Nicole, we understand there are definitely more than one suspect. There could be more than two. They do not know. Of course, they're not going to give that information out because they are at the very early onset of this investigation, and it could potentially derail the whole investigation. But what say you about how quickly they assessed the fact that this guy was not working alone? It does seem that this truck did, in fact, change hands at some point because the vehicle was not rented by this person. It could have been rented by somebody else, changed hands. This person was the one who actually drove the truck to New Orleans and actually committed the heinous crime of barreling into a crowd on Bourbon Street. But those that facilitated the attack, they are still on the loose, and that's why these investigators are hell-bent to bring justice.
Right. I picked up a few things from this press conference as well, and I have to agree with Paul. When the ASAC Alethea Duncan, I actually know Alethea. She was actually in FBI Miami in the beginning of her career. She mentioned that this Jabbar was not, they do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. My personal intuition is that Jabbar was not solely responsible. I think this is probably a very well orchestrated and complex attack. But one thing I definitely picked up on was when Senator Kennedy said, look, we're going to give you time to conduct this investigation. And we want to be fair because you can't compromise an investigation. That is true. You always hear it's an ongoing federal investigation. We can't give comment. And sometimes that's them trying not to be transparent, but sometimes it really is legitimate and you do need to keep it confidential in order to not destroy getting information that you need. But it would not shock me if this individual was on someone's radar at some point. And the fact that he is demanding clear transparency, that's what Americans deserve. And it's very tragic that this occurred. Thankfully, we have not seen something like this in the very recently in the United States. But what I can tell you is, having worked for the FBI and having left the FBI, they gave full resources to January 6th capital violence offenders, misdemeanors, and treated them with the highest level and full force of the federal government. And I sat there and watched that occur, and I sat and I said, you know, there's got to be some very serious terrorist activity going on behind the scenes. I sure hope that the FBI is allocating those resources towards something like this. And again, I cannot say that there's a clear, link, but what I am saying is that the Americans do deserve full transparency. The FBI does deserve to have time to conduct a full investigation. But this is what we need to be focusing on, and we cannot say, January 6th Capitol violence, it is still on the homepage of the FBI's website almost 4 years later. And I sure hope that this was not on the FBI's radar, because if so, there will be some serious questions that have to be answered, because I can tell you how many resources they have dedicated towards other misdemeanor offenses when something like this was in the works.
All right, let's bring Paul back in here. Paul, and I'm interested in the background of this attacker here. 42 years old, born in the United States, from Texas, served in the U.S. Army. Now, I'm assuming, Paul, that one of the urgent questions that investigators need to look at here is, was this person recently radicalized, or have they been essentially radical for a long time, but were part of some sort of sleeper cell?
Well, they're certainly going to be looking at that. One of the things they'll look at is if that name is actually his birth name, or did he change his name at some point? And that would be some indication that at one point he had some change of identity and maybe his ideological outlook. They'll also be looking at what training he had in the military. Was he trained in any kind of demolition work, which might have been how he attempted to build these IEDs, which very fortunately did not detonate. So, yeah, they're going to be looking at all those things, and it's going to be part and parcel of what I said earlier, which is, was there a way to pick them up? People these days are radicalized almost always online. And look, that's needle in a haystack stuff, especially these days with encrypted apps and all the other avenues that are open to people who are interested in this sort of stuff.
Oh, come on, Fox. It ain't me, folks. I'm still streaming. Well, let's try to give you guys some updates on what's going on here while we're waiting for Fox to figure out their crap on their streaming services. Let's give you some updates that's going on here regarding the FBI probe, and then we'll get into a little bit of the, what do you call that? The Cybertruck here. So I guess they're saying that you can clearly see the flag on the truck in this video. So let's see if we could see the video here. I'm assuming that maybe that's the truck there. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it definitely is the truck. So for those on audio, there's the truck. It's in a bunch of traffic. And there is a flag at the tail end of it. But I can't make out what kind of flag it is. Really garbage video. Oh, there he goes. Oh, crap. Yep. So there's the barrier that they were talking about. So there you have it. Holy lordy. I mean, he made a hard right, dude. Wow. So there were, I don't know, is that, did he go up on the curb there? I guess he did, right? Does that look like you guys? Does that look like he went up on the curb? It looks, he must have, because that's where the pedestrians are walking. But he went around the cop car. So, I mean, they were being transparent on that they had people there. I guess maybe more than one squad car in the future, huh? Holy lordy, man. Wow. That is god awful. Let's see what else is going on here with these updates. These are minute by minute updates, folks. Some of them are just by other Americans. The reason for posting was to hopefully get Bike back. Considering terrorist attack, why even bring this up? A real tragedy in NOLA. At least 10 people dead. This woke right BS means you can't criticize anyone of a disfavored group for mistakes. The woke right is angry at FBI agents' ability to speak. FBI, what is this woke right stuff? This is the first I'm hearing of it. Breaking new footage from the New Orleans terrorist attack shows moments that this steps out of the vehicle after crashing. Oh, interesting. All right, let's check this out. I'm almost asking to get banned on YouTube.
What the fuck? I died this fucking died.
Those guys were running. You should have hit the ground, my friend.
I died this fucking died.
Truly, it really is frustrating. I think what's more confusing to me is the guy is a U.S. citizen. Seems like he's a guy that served in the military is what they're saying. And, well, was he radicalized? If so, when did it happen? When did it take place? I guess they're saying the press conference was a hot mess. We kind of missed a portion of this, but here we go.
Can I say something, Riker? Tell me who you're with. WDSU. Okay, and CBS.
NBC's over here on the right.
Oh, that's an unusual position.
I don't get it.
You wouldn't. Look, can I say something?
Why do they need all these people back here? Get the hell out of the way. None of you need to be here. Half of them don't need to be there. It's to show that we're working in unison. We're all together on this. Yeah, I want to see more of this guy. Where the hell is he at? Now I'm going to show you who I want to see more of because I'm tired of this crap. I'm tired of him always hiding, right? Fumbling through his damn words. I'm looking for this SOB right here. Where the hell are you at, Joe? For you, there's a lot of people just joining us. I want to be fair. He did talk, so we might as well play it again.
You've all got my statement. I'll have more to say in the next hour or so following what's going on in New Orleans. I'll be happy to do that.
Do you understand if the person crossed the border?
I'm not going to comment on any specific yet at all. I've contacted every agency in the federal government as well as the state. They're all coordinating to get to the bare facts. We know what the facts are.
Can you say if you're a foreigner or if you was a domestic?
I'm not going to say anything until I get all the facts in front of me.
How long ago was this? He said we get it up. This 3 hours ago. We still haven't had an update from him. Do we have an update online from anybody regarding what the hell Joe said? I'm going to be tapping back in the Fox while I'm looking for it.
Suspect. This is all happening during a very busy time in a very busy city. New Year's Eve last night, the Sugar Bowl football game between UGA and Notre Dame that was set for tonight. We now know it's been postponed 24 hours as this active investigation continues, and the iconic Bourbon Street here in New Orleans is still currently an active crime scene. And we just heard from several state and local officials. Here is the mayor of New Orleans. Listen.
I want to express my deepest condolences to the families and loved ones that were impacted by this tragedy on Bourbon Street and in the heart of the city of New Orleans. And I know that the entire New Orleans City Council grieves along right with me, no doubt about that, and our people and our families. We are committed, no doubt, to uncovering all details surrounding this tragedy. And we're taking every necessary step to put even more safety procedures in place.
Now, the FBI says that, again, multiple IEDs were found in the suspect's car and in the French Quarter. Now, there was an ISIS flag on the car as well, they confirmed. So right now, obviously, a lot of enhanced security, bomb dogs, law enforcement officers sweeping this now shut down area. Again, 10 dead, dozens injured. And officials say that some people injured are still fighting for their lives. The University of Georgia confirms that one of their students is a victim, and they are critically injured.
So I have this report from Jack, is it Posobic? Well, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Well, he says hearing Jabbar, this is the guy that committed the terrorist attack, was reported twice to his army COC for Islamic extremist views, and they were too scared of causing a racial and religious issue to address. Do you want to know why they were too scared? Is because the progressive left love cancel culture, and the progressive left have been working for quite some time, at least since 2012, to destroy this country from the inside out. And so now, because people are too scared to say anything, because you'll be fired and lose your job and be blacklisted from working for any company or anybody ever again, this is why stuff kind of gets exacerbated later on in the future and has long-term ramifications. So that whole see something, say something, well, they don't actually mean it, because if you say something, do something, whatever the hell their stupid-ass acronym is, well, you get fired if you say something. So people would rather just keep their mouths shut. So isn't that just lovely? Charlie Kirk says about right. Might as well go through a few of these tweets here. Yet somehow we are worried about Pete Hegseth radicalizing the military. What a joke. That's a great callback. Nice job, PT Ward. Love that. 22 women in Iran's, I don't know what the hell that's talking about. I'm still wondering why all the people who stand on the balconies on Bourbon Street, there's not a single video of the event happening. Well, yeah, there is. We just haven't seen it yet. This is what happens when you allow immigrants from countries that are completely opposed to the American way of life into our country. It doesn't matter if they have been there for 40 years or even if they're first generation. That type of deep divide takes centuries to be removed. There is some truth to that, but I mean, if this guy was born and raised in the United States, I wonder if he had dual citizenship. That's something that nobody else has really brought up to me. And there's an interesting aspect to that dual citizenship where, can somebody explain to me why you're allowed to have dual citizenship? It's a good question, right? Is that if you're giving your oath and you're giving your allegiance to the United States of America, how does that work then? You're giving allegiance to another country as well as the United States? Like who are you for here? And that idea comes from Vivek Ramaswamy in his newest book called Truth. So if you haven't read that, it's a great book, but it also is a great point. Very great point. Is this guy having allegiance to another country, but yet he's allegedly having allegiance to the United States? That's another question I have. I don't have the answers here, and quite frankly, I don't think anybody really does as of right now. People dead, and FBI lied once again. Cash as soon as possible. The ADHD guy's talking about Kash Patel, and we need more information, and we need a guy that's going to let everything out. Now, I'm taking it with a grain of salt with Kash Patel and everybody else because I want to see stuff. I don't want all this talk. I've been given all this talk my entire life from these 3-letter agencies. I want to see real shit get done. That's what I want to see. Because I'm tired of this crap happening.
Hi, Julie. President Biden is watching the situation closely from Camp David in Maryland, the presidential retreat. He spoke briefly on camera earlier, but put out a statement that was far more comprehensive. We're waiting to see if he may say something a little bit more in-depth later today, but I want to read part of the statement. He says, I'm grateful for the brave and swift response of local law enforcement in preventing even greater death and injury. I've directed my team to ensure every resource is available as federal, state, and local law enforcement work assiduously to get to the bottom of what happened as quickly as possible and to ensure that there's no remaining threat of any kind. I'll continue to receive updates through the day, and we'll have more to say as we have further information to share. In the meantime, my heart goes out to the victims and their families who are simply trying to celebrate the holiday. There's no justification for violence of any kind, and we will not tolerate any attack on our nation's communities. The president-elect reacting, saying that he is praying for the city of New Orleans, hoping that they get through this, saying that this is a terrible day, and he's praying for the victims and their families. Meanwhile, President Biden continuing to get updates from Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, Attorney General Merrick Garland and his staff, and FBI Director Christopher Wray and the staff. Now the FBI's task, and I cover the FBI, is to try to piece together more about this suspect. We heard in that news conference that there may be some other people involved. They're canvassing, perhaps issuing some warrants on some properties. We know that the truck, as we reported earlier, was spotted in Eagle Pass, Texas on November 16th. That's to say the driver was not spotted in the car on November 16th in Eagle Pass, Texas, but the truck specifically was picked up on a monitor. So there's definitely a lot more work that authorities have to do to try to piece together not only more about the suspect, but the truck as it changed hands, because it was a rental truck. So clearly they want to talk to the owner of the truck and find out more there. But back here at the White House, nothing yet from President Biden as far as a more formal
statement. He's not even at the White House. He's at Camp David.
That could come later today or even tomorrow when he is scheduled to return to the White House. Julie.
All right, David Spunt. Thank you, David. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Jonathan.
All right, Julie, let's bring in Ted Williams, former D.C. homicide detective. And Ted, it was really interesting to me.
I want to show you guys this. Again, when I show you this information, look, you're all adults. You all get this, but I still need to say it nonetheless. Take what I'm about to show you with a grain of salt. It could be faked. All right. DC Drano has an exclusive alleged picture of the full ISIS flag from the New Orleans attack. Now, I see the poll there. This could be it. I don't know. So it doesn't mean go start sharing this with everybody, right? We don't know. We wait till we get all the facts. But what's coming out is I want to present it to you. And as adults, you're able to come up with your own decision. A follower whose family was staying in the hotel above the attack sent this picture to me. So allegedly, that looks homemade. It doesn't look like something you're getting off the rack at freaking TGI Max or whatever the hell it's called. So we got a lot of stuff coming out here. A lot of stuff. The Cybertruck explosion, you guys, people are saying that there was explosives in it. I don't know. That comes from a few people. I haven't seen anything come out from like the actual press, but I have seen people say that there was explosives in it. I don't know if I believe that as of yet. Now you might say, well, Brad, why didn't you just hold off on telling us that? Because again, you're all aware of coming up with your own conclusions. And as I'm going through this with all of you in real time, I'm presenting the information and unraveling it myself and coming to my own conclusion. I haven't come to much yet because, well, stuff is scanty. I forgot who that came. It was a prominent conservative that said the news. I want to see if I can maybe find that for you, where I read that really quick. I'm trying to give you information in real time, and I'm having to siphon through a lot of news, folks. So just be aware of that. When I'm looking over at my other monitor, I'm trying to filter through stuff, read your chats, see if any of you are posting anything yourselves. Shout out to the hundreds of people that are watching. We got well over 100 on Rumble. We got over 100 on YouTube. We got over 100. We might be having a couple hundred over there on X almost. So we got hundreds of people watching. I greatly appreciate all of you. We do a show every single morning, Monday through Friday, on YouTube, Rumble, and X, where we present you a lot of information. We took the day off. Well, we were supposed to take the day off. The truck was rented. The question is, who was it rented to? And how'd this person get away with doing this kind of act without the FBI knowing? And could it be the fact that FBI would rather focus on January 6 people that were ordering a hot dog 10 blocks away and locking them up rather than doing their damn job? Remember, FBI Director for Christopher Wray, who's resigning this month, thank God. We got only freaking 19 more days till Donald Trump gets elected. Not even elected. Well, that's January 6th. Technically, he gets elected, right? He's electorals will do their thing. But January 20th was when we get the inauguration. We got to figure this crap out. And people go, Brad, I think you're a little bit too harsh on Democrats. Yes, I am. Does anybody in the chat know a Republican or conservative that's okay with this massive illegal immigration? If you are, they aren't Republican or conservative because that goes against the ideology of the two parties. Yeah, they allowed this crap to happen, and now we have to deal with the consequences. And it does get me riled up, man. How would it not? People are fucking dead. Because you got these idiot politicians that's elected by Democrats that allow this crap to take place. It's frustrating, man. I said this was going to happen for freaking years. I was complaining on the channel, on the show about this. We got a lot of patriots, a lot of regulars in the live chat right now. I see your guys' names. Have I not been saying this? Have we not all in the chat been complaining that this stuff was going to happen and to sound alarm bells? I hate to say it, but shit, I was right about the Donald Trump assassination. I was streaming it live when it happened. Why was I streaming all the freaking rallies? Was because there was rumors that something was going to happen. And I'm a dude in a closet. I keep saying that. I'm not gay. I'm married, but you know what I mean. It's frustrating. How the hell am I able to do all this? And our own intelligence apparatus that's allegedly the best in the world can't figure it out? You got NPCs voting that are voting for this stuff to happen. How do I know that? I live in California. You guys, you want to know why I'm so pissed off? I don't talk about this much. I get death threats from the Iranians. I don't talk about that all that much on the show. It's not a very fun thing for people to write to you that they're going to freaking shoot you in the head. It's not a very fun thing to get that with a small channel like myself. I don't get a ton of views. We get like a couple hundred views. I'm not complaining about the viewership. I'm just saying I'm not a big channel and I still get death threats from these freaking terrorists. So yeah, it hits close to home a little bit, just a little bit. And that's why it gets me riled up, because we got hundreds of them in this country right now that have already trained, according to the CIA, that want to blow you and your family's asses up. And Democrats are going, oh, we should bring in everybody. Open borders. It's going to be great. They're going to do great things for this country. They're just here for a better life. Fucking idiots. Oh, yeah, bring in everybody. Why don't you fucking put them in your house, you nut jobs? Oh, yeah, let's just bring in the whole world. Everything's going to be fine, hunky-dory. Yeah, it pisses me off because it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. You're a freaking American. These people don't like you. When are people going to understand that? I know you guys get, everybody that's watching. I'm doing a little bit of a rant because I'm fired up right now. When is it that Democrats and progressive left can take logic and work it perfectly with their freaking heads and understand that people want to behead you? They don't like you. It doesn't matter that you're Democrat. It matters that you're an American and you hold values that these people don't like. They want to wipe you off the face of the earth. And for some ungodly reason, these NPCs are so far gone mentally in a certain capacity when it comes to this stuff that they're not capable of making that connection. Going, the guy's just here for a better life. Yeah, he's just here to make money. We got to give him an opportunity. Let me know if I'm wrong. There's hundreds of people in here. We can do a little bit of a poll. Let me know if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm saying anything outlandish. Honest to God, I don't think I'm being extreme by any measure. Why are we allowing people into the country? Granted, this guy is allegedly U.S. born, okay? We're not talking about, I'm just talking about the other terrorists that are here. And that we keep voting in people that allow it to happen and want to harbor these criminals. Case in point, Gavin Newsom. My governor of the state of California wants to harbor these criminals. He said so. What do you mean? I'm so tired of these Democrats in the chat going, oh, well, why don't you show us the proof? Why don't you go find it your fucking self? Why are you always relying on somebody else? Why don't you go find all this stuff yourself? You're the one voting for it. Yeah, damn right. People are dead, but don't worry. Oh, yeah, Joe Biden's going to solve it. Kamala Harris is going to fix it for us. Where the hell is Kamala Harris? Has anybody heard from her? She wanted to run for president. Couldn't even budget her own campaign. Oh, God, man. What a time to freaking be alive. 2024, I'm so sorry for doubting you. And I think in the grass was greener on the other side. I want you back. No, George, there was an assassination on Donald Trump's life. I don't want to go back to 2024. There was millions of people that immigrated to this country. We have an opportunity to fix this all in 2025. I'd say this is a good day to remind everyone to carry, conceal, and bring an extra mag. Yeah, in a tourniquet. Yes. Yeah. So for all the Iranians that want to blow my head off, nice fucking try, dude. Yeah, I'm a patriot. So, yeah, I don't need to say anything further, but. So people are saying this, I don't know, a lot of people are talking about this Trump explosion. Breaking, investigators have obtained video footage showing 3 men and a woman planting explosives connected to the New Orleans terrorist attack. So that's breaking. We'll see if that's true. Predictions here. Dizzy says, Brad Army Strong, MAGA, F Joe Biden and the leftist losers for $20. Thank you, sir. Greatly appreciate it, Dizzy. He's a longtime supporter. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Look, you guys would tell me if I'm a little off, right? We got a good community here. I talk about it all the time. I brag about you guys. Now, if Republicans, and some of them are responsible for this massive illegal immigration, some of them are. I can't name them off the top of my head as of right now. But mostly it's Democrats. That's why I'm hounding them. If it was Republicans that were doing this crap, then I would hound them. I hound Republicans when it comes to the debt, the $36 trillion that we're in. I got no problem pointing fingers. I'm not beholden by any party. Yeah, I'm a MAGA supporter. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I'm always proud to say that, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to sit there and rip somebody a new one for doing some stupid stuff. You got freaking Joey in here. Where is Joe? Joe doesn't even have the, look, you can do it in Camp David. I get it. We got a lot of stuff there. I'm fully aware of that, but it's the optics of it. Be good to go to the White House, Joe. Be very good to go to the White House. So they're on a commercial break right now on Fox. We'll try to bring you the news here as we siphon through this. Terry follows us. She does a radio show. She follows us over on X. Look, we got a lot of people watching over at X. I want to salute everybody that's checking out our channel over on Twitter, also known as Elon Musk's Ask. Look, we're trying to grow that portion of it too. So if you can give us a follow over there, we do bring you the latest and greatest news. So a lot of explosive stuff. Okay. All right. Well, why don't I just pull that off to the side? And that's what she said. And figure this out. Let's read through some of your chats here really quick. USA, Judas Johnson. I don't know who is talking about that. I'm just as pissed off as you are, Brad. I appreciate that, Drape. Thank you so much. Why don't Democrats care that the big guy took showers with teenage daughters, as she wrote in her journal, with his teenage daughter? They also want to castrate children and do all the other crazy crap. But remember, we're the extremists. We're the woke right. We're the far conspiracy theorists, everything they want to detail us as. Some people get their feelings hurt too easy. Mark brings up a great point. And remember, that's why we had that tweet that we just showed where they were trying to report this guy for his Islamic crazy ass extreme beliefs. And they were too scared to report him because they didn't want to sit there and get fired. So that's where we're at nowadays. You can't even see something, say something anymore because you'll lose your job. House Speaker Judas Johnson. Oh, I got you. Okay, I see what you're doing there. That makes sense. Dave says, or GTA, get high and sell cocaine. Jeremy says, we are supposed to be secure as the Treasury Department is getting hacked by China. That is also breaking news. Jeremy, shout out to you for being on top of it. Thank you, sir. Yes, China is hacking currently our Treasury, or did at least. The Bald Brad Army has your back. Bradley, thank you, Dizzy. I appreciate you, man. I always have your guys' back. As we always say, we got each other 6.
To impeding or endangering this investigation is not going to be said, okay? And we will, as information unfolds, this is a very fluid process. And remember something too. We're doing 2 things. We're hunting some bad people down and we're securing the city too. We're getting ready for a sugar bowl tomorrow.
And that Sugar Bowl is now delayed. It's going to be canceled for this evening, and they've been postponing it to tomorrow, just to make sure everything is ultimately safe. They do believe that the area has been cleared, Jonathan. They didn't indicate that they believe that there is any further threat, but they have indicated there are going to be more suspects that were involved in this plot to kill as many people as they possibly could. And speaking of, we have Dan Linsky, a former Boston superintendent-in-chief of police who worked in Boston at the time where they suffered a horrific mass casualty, murder, bomb, terrorist threat there and terror attack, and he joins me now. What about this incident in New Orleans brings you back to that horrible day in Boston?
All of it. The people having a great time in America, celebrating a great event, great holiday, and having that day turned into a nightmare. Horrific injuries and heroic actions by law enforcement. So it seems like a repeat exactly. Our event was Islamic terrorism that involved IEDs. This event is that as well. And, it's they've got an investigation to do. They've got a scene to secure.
We're going to keep playing that in the background. Just want to point this out. Now, there's a phrase I use a lot on the channel. And it's a phrase that I used when I was a public accountant. If it smells like shit, it usually is shit. And I know I cussed, and we're trying to, fix that for the New Year's. It's a New Year's resolution, but I think today we could take a little bit of a break off that one. I played the video of the police chief, right? And I paused it. And I said, this looks a little off. It looks a little weird, right? I mean, you're kind of looking at this pretty like, this is the police chief? She's going to take down a 6'5" black dude? Really? White dude? 7 foot white dude? Doesn't matter. A 6'2" Hispanic? 5'9" Asian? Really? This lady? New Orleans Superintendent of Police Anna Kirkpatrick is also an instructor for the FBI's leadership training program, where she instructs on bias and diversity. Oh, you just know. You just could tell. It doesn't make sense. You're gonna storm the beaches with this lady? I understand it's a military reference, but you understand what I mean by that, because the left like to twist and construe. They're not able to make connections. The left isn't. We can here. You understand what I'm talking about when I use analogies. Well, it doesn't match up. It's not apples to apples. An analogy doesn't have to be apples to apples, you idiot. Bias and diversity, she's the chief of New Orleans Police Department and a DEI teacher. Oh. No. Yeah. No, man. Probably spending a lot of time on DEI rather than actually making sure your city's safe. Now, that wouldn't even be a topic of discussion if you never did the DEI stuff in the first place. Because DEI is based inherently pretty much on race rather than your noggin working. And I don't care about somebody's race. I care about what's going on up here. They don't understand that. King County Sheriff's Office, in addition to executive leadership experience, Kirkpatrick is a national instructor for the FBI's Law Enforcement Executive Association's leadership training program, where she instructs on topics including, but not limited to, bias and diversity, emotional intelligence, and leading generations. Oh, it's working out really well. Oh, it's good. Glad you're spending your time doing that stupid crap. Can't even sit in there and barricade a freaking street correctly. Guy went right around. No, this is good. So let's see what people's comments are to this. That's actually kind of fun. Unbelievable. The same Anna Kirkpatrick, who's pushing DEI nonsense as an FBI instructor, is now leading the New Orleans Police Department. How can we trust our law enforcement to keep us safe when they're being indoctrinated with divisive ideologies? Correct. She also hit 2 pedestrians earlier this year. Maybe time for Annie to retire. My God, this is more ridiculous than anyone could imagine. Oh, it gets more ridiculous. She hit 2 pedestrians with her car this year. That's not good. Well, I don't think that has anything to do with her being a DEI hire. Marion County is hiring. I don't know about you, but I don't feel safe. No, you shouldn't. That's the thing I've been complaining about. You shouldn't feel safe. We just I say possibly have a terrorist attack because all the information hasn't really come out yet, okay? There's people that say we did. There's people that say we didn't, yada, yada, yada. It does seem to be that there was a terrorist attack. You shouldn't feel safe. There's thousands of them here. Thousands of sleeper cells. Yeah, you shouldn't ever feel safe. The hell? We've been talking about this for years. New Orleans police had Anna Kirkpatrick, used to be the police chief of Oakland, California. Does that not say everything? You want to know who comes out of California? Nancy Pelosi, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom. These idiots. Adam Schiff, who's one of the worst people ever in Congress. Anna Kirkpatrick here. I guess she got fired is what people are allegedly saying. She was fired and then hired by New Orleans. Going from one Democrat area to another. I think New Orleans is Democrat. Correct me if I'm wrong there, though. Fired as Oakland chief, sued and won $1.5 million. We are paying her to teach diversity, disregard safety protocols, and run down civilians with her own car. You want to bet someone is going to pay her another 1.5 in tax money to retire. Adam Sharp. That's a good nickname for him. Hey, Brad, where is the Bald Brad chat safe space? We don't have one of those, Dizzy. That doesn't exist. And I know you're being sarcastic. I got to say that because some people might not know your humor. I feel somewhat safe, but only because I live way out of town. Yeah, maybe that's the place to be. Is go. I can't say that, Danielle, but you're not wrong. And shout out to you for saying that on YouTube. She looks 80 years old. No, that's what I'm saying. Look, you can be old and have wisdom. Donald Trump is old. The guy has wisdom. And quite frankly, he's a big dude. You might be able to take him down, but he's a big dog. She's a grandmother. And it's tough because you look for your leaders to lead. And leaders don't just lead in their wisdom. They also lead in their actions and what they do. And that's why I use that reference, storming the beaches. Is you would want your leaders to be storming the beaches with you. And it's tough to listen to somebody and go, okay, well, shit, your leader should be able to kick your ass is what I'm saying, okay? Or at least put up a good fight. Here's a poll. I mean, is it her or Joe who wins?
The investigation from live on the ground in New Orleans next.
Ah, shit. Of course it goes to commercial break. As I pull it up. So the truck was used in the... we're trying to still figure out where the truck actually came from, but I want to know who these other people are. Shout out to everybody that's watching us over on X. Appreciate you. Follow us over on X if you are watching us. And also leave a comment on the video that it's currently streaming right now. That way I can see it. For some reason, X, I can't see your guys' posts, but if I leave something, I will read it out loud to the hundreds of people that are watching. A little good news on this crazy day. New Hampshire has 0 state income taxes. Okay. That's nice to know. This is legacy of Biden, Mayorkas, Garland, and Ray. That is correct. See, people keep posting this. I'm gonna show this to you guys. I don't know what to believe on this one. The Cybertruck explosion is now being investigated as an act of terror. It might be a suicide mission. If so, the plotters had much worse intentions, but thank God no one else died except the driver and 7 were injured. Here's the weird... man. That's what I don't get. The thing was clearly on... I should say the thing. The truck was clearly on fire before. I mean, I know it seems like it happened fast, but... I don't know. It was smoking, so that, I mean, it might, I don't know if it was a terrorist. I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys think the Cybertruck thing was just kind of like happenstance? It's just the guy got blown up by his own truck, or do you think it was a terrorist attack? That one, it doesn't seem too fishy to me. It seems like kind of coincidental with all this happening. Let me see if I get some latest on that for all of you. People keep posting. Might as well show you what I'm looking at. Why not? So this is what I'm peeking at right now. Kind of zoom in for all of you so we could research together like High School Musical. Here we go. It's unclear right now if this was an act of terror or a malfunction of the vehicle that caused it to explode. Some reports say it started as a fire first and then exploded, which does sound like a potential malfunction, but the coincidence of the Cybertruck Trump Tower with all what's going on in New Orleans. Well, I think that's a great point and kind of what is going on in my head. But here's what's weird. If the driver died and it kind of started as a fire. I mean, how quick would that make the truck explode? I don't know why this guy keeps putting down. I'll put you in timeout for a little bit, man. You keep posting this thing about like mRNA stuff. Right now is not the time. Packed full of fireworks, so that's explosives, but could be for the New Year's festivities. No, I don't think, was it packed? No. Where are you getting that from, Gregor? The thing was, again, I just, I'd like more information about this. It's just not coming out as quickly as the other thing is, which tells me that maybe it probably wasn't what we think it was. Because if this was if they got any sort of smell test, they would be on this a lot more and quicker. Here we go. Police confirm driver killed in Cybertruck explosion at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas, 7 others injured. Now, when they say injured, you guys, it's people that maybe got their hearing kind of rung a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when you fire off something, you get a little buzz in your head. Let's see how CNN is reporting this whole thing, because people are just saying, "Oh, it's just a truck that went off the road." Yeah, it's real. I just made that up. FBI does not believe driver was only one responsible for New Orleans attack. Terrorist, maybe. It should say this. I will fix it for CNN on the spot. FBI does not believe terrorist was the only one responsible for New Orleans attack. They just can't do it. And in small print, suspect has an ISIS flag during pickup truck attack. Oh, pickup truck attack, not a terror attack. Pickup truck attack. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. How many times do I have to make a satirical joke and then it turns out to be true? At least they have it up here in the Chiron. FBI investigating deadly New Orleans truck ramming attack. Oh, as an act of terrorism. So truck ramming attack. Gotcha. I'm still waiting for the left to say we need to ban all trucks. That's what we need to do. Yeah, that's going to solve it, you guys. Yep. No, it's linear logic. If you're going to have mass killings with trucks and if you're going to have mass killings with guns, well, you should ban trucks too. If you're going to say you're going to ban guns. No, trucks kill people. Yeah, it's not. No. No. Oh, stop it. You guys are being too logical in the chat. What do you mean it's people that kill people? That's too... No, that's correct. No, you're right. But that's not what the left believes. No. It was that truck that did it. Mm-hmm. Yes, that truck. And now, I mean, literally nowadays, right? Cars can drive themselves. But in this sense, somebody was driving this vehicle. And yeah, trucks and cars kill people, you guys. Yeah. Yeah. And we should ban them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we should modify them now, too. Yeah. Uh-huh. Ban all trucks. Careful, though. Careful what you wish for, because people like AOC want to actually do that. Yeah, it's called the Green New Deal. Ban them trucks. Yep. Start by banning LED headlights. Yep, that too. Yep, there's a modification we could do on these. Yep. Ban steering wheels. Ban pedals. The truck didn't attack. So stupid. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, see, we're logical here. We understand people kill people. That the tools that they use can be variable. You can do knives, machetes, guns, rifles. I mean, anything at your disposal because you're a psycho person and you want to go kill people because you're psycho. Now, the left, because they're psycho too, I always show this image. You see this? This is called perfect. It just slides together, right? Nice and easy. How the lefts work, their brain goes like this. It doesn't work. That logic it doesn't fit. It's a perfect analogy. It's great. That is apples to apples. It still doesn't make sense to me. Nothing will. Nothing will. I got threatened on Newsbreak by a dude on there named Hamlin, who is in Vegas. I'm out in Mesquite, 88 miles away. Thank goodness. Yeah, I get threats a lot, my friend. Welcome to the club. Nothing like terrorists threatening you. AOC Crazy Eyes. Yeah, no, she's psycho. We're just waiting on the commercial break here to get more updates on what's going on with Fox and other outlets here. And looks like we got it.
And the people of New Orleans, the truth. And the people of America, the truth. I think the mayor and the governor are very wise to postpone this ball game for 24 hours. There's just too much stuff we don't know.
So again, the Sugar Bowl game postponed 24 hours. As of right now, it'll be happening tomorrow night around 8 sometime late in the evening. But fans have come from all over the country for this game between UGA and Notre Dame. We spoke to some earlier today. A lot of them said that they're scared and they aren't going to go to the game anymore because of this. Some people, they tell us that they're scared as well, but they still want to enjoy this game. So as this crime scene continues on Bourbon Street, so are the people out and about in New Orleans, you know, after this very horrible incident that happened last night at New Year's Eve. I'll send it back to you guys.
All right. Madison Scarpino, thank you very much. Jonathan.
Julie, let's bring in Chris Swecker, former assistant FBI director. Chris, great to have you here with us this afternoon. I want to ask you, on the basis of your, I believe, more than 2 decades of experience at the FBI, they're now leading this investigation. What is their priority in terms of focus right now? Take us behind the scenes, if you can, Chris. What are they doing first?
Yeah, I mean, they are building out the social network, everything they can find out about this person's sort of sphere, who he's associated with, who might have influenced him, who his co-conspirators might be, and there's a strong indication from the FBI Assistant Special Agent in charge that there are indeed co-conspirators here, which makes this a terrorist cell. And that's what they want to do, is identify the cell. Is there a continuing danger? The fact that they postponed the Sugar Bowl tells me that although they may know a lot about what's transpired here and the motivation, that they don't know everything they'd like to know. And so they're putting the word out to the public. They need more information. So this
is what I was talking about, folks. Check this out. Bourbon Street attack on New Year's revels, just the latest case of terrorists using trucks to kill. Oh. Huh. Sounds like something we were just talking about, was it not? The deadly ramming of the New Orleans is unfortunately not the only time suspected terrorists have used trucks. Car ramming or vehicle as a weapon attacks are highly effective. With this attack on the heels of the deadly events of Christmas market in Germany, that's the one that I brought up about an hour, how long we were streaming, about an hour ago. Yeah, we should be all mindful while attending and enjoying mass gathering events, which is why I don't attend mass gathering events. Soft targets and crowded places will always be desirable for terrorists given the potential loss of life. If you guys were ever to go out with me in public, my head is always on a swivel. I am checking to see if somebody's armed. I'm checking to see if they're concealing carrying. I'm checking to see where their eyes are roaming. I don't sit in crowded areas. I always usually sit up against a wall. I could see the door. I could see exits. I could see it and plan it all out. I know what's going to happen. That's the type of mentality that I have. When I'm out in public, I'm not going, oh, this is great. Look at how everything's going. Yeah, I'm having a good time, but my head's also on a swivel, making sure that I've identified where everybody's at. Does anybody look suspicious? Is anybody doing anything kind of that's off? That's not normal type of body behavior in public. In the first Trump administration, we recognized that vehicles as a weapon was a true threat that needed to be mitigated. The challenge in securing public venues or soft targets is that the open nature of these locations makes them vulnerable to attacks. Bad actors target places where individuals of all backgrounds should be able to assemble safely, freely, and without fear of harm. Such violence has no place in our society. We'll talk to Joe Biden about that in the Democrat Party because they want to allow terrorists to come into the country. Now, Jabbar, this guy that just committed this heinous crime and was shot, in my opinion, didn't have enough bullets in him, was carrying a Glock and a .308 rifle equipped with optics and a suppressor that had been reported stolen in New Jersey, the source said. Oh, it was reported stolen in New Jersey. Interesting. So he didn't get it legally? Oh, but don't worry. Yeah, ban all guns. Yes, ban all semi-automatic firearms, which is every firearm pretty much in America right now, unless you have a very specialized license to have an automatic. But do I need to keep showing the image of how the brain works for the left? The source added that there are at least 4 or 5 other suspects involved. I'm waiting for this. I find it highly odd and suspicious that they're not coming out with this. Now, the only reason in my mind that I can come up with on the spot, there's probably other reasons and variables that go into this, is that they haven't found these people. And that if they release their names, then they might flee or do something else. How were these other suspects involved? That's what I want to know. 2 officers were shot. An 8-block perimeter was given. An employee at the front desk of the Bourbon Orleans Hotel told Fox News Digital that she drove to work around 6 a.m. but had to walk a far distance through police barricades. Though she did not see much, she heard what sounded like at least 2 soft bangs, suspecting something had detonated. So we're making sure we bring you guys up all the news here regarding what took place on New Year's, which is a terrible thing. And, you know, going into 2024, or sorry, going into 2025, holy lordy. Hate to have this bad news, unfortunately. I'm trying to see if anybody else, I mean, the latest update I really have is from like an hour ago, which is really, all right, I'm just going to ban this guy. There we go. I gave him a warning, putting some stupid crap in there. Have you tried gargling sewage? I feel like I hop into some of your guys' chats so randomly. Me too, Brad. My daddy brought me up that way. That's the way to do it. Exactly. Well, Brad, you sound like me, and I've got papers. Love that, Paul. We got a bunch of patriots in the chat, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Q says, along with being a paralegal, Q's smart as hell, by the way. I'm just going to throw it out there. Q's a supporter and a member, but I'm not trying to build them up. They're just, so that's the community we have here. If you're wondering who I'm talking about, folks, we're talking about people in the live chat right now. Again, I have you right here. Oh, it'd be helpful if I put this on. I have you right here. So I'm reading your guys' chats. I also have Rumble queued up, and I also have X, which is right here. So if you want to pop in our live chat, we have people. I mean, folks, come on. We got to chat here. So come and join us. Come hang out. Again, all these people are here every single day hanging out, and they're not just people. They're patriots of this country, and they're freaking awesome. And as I'm telling you, they're smart. So let me go back to Q. Not that I would ever, but if I had tickets to a Super Bowl type event, I wouldn't go this year. Well, that's one thing I'm fearful of. Remember, they're planning attacks on our embassies as well as our capital. Don't know when. But if the CIA knows about that, it makes you worried. Look, I've said this, the inauguration is the 20th, you guys. I do not want Trump coming out of that vehicle. Trump, we know what you look like, dude. I don't need you walking down the street waving to people that came to see you. All those people should be aware that there's hits on your life, and I don't want you getting out of that car, please, sir. If anybody's like, no, he needs to get out and wave to people. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He has work to get done. He can go in there and give a speech from inside the White House. I'm okay. I don't need him on the outside and this whole spectacle. He could be from the inside, safe and sound, to get work done. Because I don't even trust our own damn government. I don't trust anybody. I want that man inside, safe and sound, and getting work done. Brad Teach, may I be excused to use the can? Yes, you may, sir. If you're just joining us, again, terror attack in New Orleans. I'm sure you're well aware. It's gone viral. It's all over the news. Everybody's pretty much covering it here. Wish I had better news. We got updates here from Ben Shapiro. Why don't we go ahead and listen to him? I'm a big advocate of Ben. Some people don't like him. I do. I have been following him to use that UCLA a lot of years. Here we go.
Hey folks, well, it's very difficult to begin the new year with such terrible news out of New Orleans. I wanted to bring you the latest breaking news from the authorities at this point. So what we do know is that by various reports, somewhere between 10 and 15 people have died in New Orleans at this point, and 35 have been wounded by a terror attack. The terrorist's name is apparently Shamsud Din Jabbar. Now, normally I don't mention the names of mass killers. The difference is that the authorities are actually seeking more information about this person. And so if you have information about this person, it's actually relevant to know his name. He's a 42-year-old U.S. citizen from Texas. Apparently, according to the FBI, he was driving a Ford pickup truck, which appears to have been rented. There was some early reporting that it had crossed over the U.S. southern border via the Eagle Pass crossing. That does not mean the person inside was an illegal immigrant or anything like that. Apparently, this car was rented. It last crossed through that Eagle Pass crossing back in November. So it's quite possible the person who owned the vehicle went to Mexico and back into the country. In any case, what we do know is that at 3:15 a.m. Central Time, an individual drove a pickup truck into a crowd of people on Bourbon Street in New Orleans. After hitting the crowd, The suspect then exited the vehicle and fired on local law enforcement. Law enforcement returned fire and killed the suspect on scene. There was, in fact, an ISIS flag in the vehicle. The FBI did ask.
I'm going to correct that. There was a report about an hour ago from Fox that it was on the hitch of the truck. So I read that. There could be two flags, but I've heard that it was in the truck, and then I heard it was on the hitch of the truck, which would emphasize the pole and the flag being driven on the back of it.
Ask for citizen help in determining if there were any other associates. They are investigating other known associates. They're operating under the assumption this person did not act alone and that this may, in fact, have been part of a terrorist cell. Presumably, one of the reasons for that is that there were IEDs that were found in the vehicle. There were also IEDs that were found, apparently, on the street. And those were apparently detonated a little bit earlier today. There are questions that have been raised about why exactly Bourbon Street wasn't better protected, why there weren't steel bollards that were up, why there weren't barriers that would have prevented some sort of terrible automobile attack like this one. Obviously, this is not the first time that you've seen an Islamic terror attack of this nature. Almost every year, there's a Christmas market in Europe that is attacked by some member associated with ISIS. So what the hell happened here? Well, apparently, according to New Orleans City Council member Jean-Pierre Morel, he said on Wednesday the barriers on Bourbon Street were in the process of being repaired. The suspect actually drove over the sidewalk to avoid that particular area. He said even had the bollard barriers been up, the circumvention by riding on the sidewalk would have defeated them. Apparently, according to that city council member, the suspect was staying in an Airbnb before the attack. Again, a horrible, horrible attack. Details are still emerging. The officers who were involved in killing the suspect, two of them received gunfire. According to the chief of police, they will be okay.
So he's kind of reiterating everything that we gave. I mean, he does have good perspectives. I read all of his books. I enjoy Ben quite a bit. I also enjoy Sean Ryan of the Sean Ryan podcast. And this is him and Superbad, codename Superbad, a CIA targeter, talking about the 1,000 terrorists that are currently residing in the United States right now.
How many people, how many fighters do you think we can expect in each attack?
Well, the 1,000 is all of them. So we're calling it, it's an Al-Qaeda planned attack, but within those 1,000 terrorists, some of them are ISIS because they want ISIS to be blamed. I think the more of the fighter types are going to be ISIS because then if they're caught, then they talk, I'm ISIS. I think of more of the suicide bombers are going to be Al-Qaeda.
I think these attacks.
I just want to point out, we've already covered this here on the show, and that's why you want to make sure you subscribe to the channel, because you're going to be, if you haven't heard this before and you watch other people's outlets, you have to ask yourself, well, why haven't you heard this before? That's why you want to subscribe to us. And by the way, we're one of the first podcasts to go live on the morning. We go live 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time each and every day, folks. We'll bring you the news and make sure we get everything out to you before you check out the other podcasts. And that way you got a nice little, few little breadcrumb trails to kind of follow when they cover the same stuff as well.
Attacks will happen simultaneously throughout the United States, or will they be one day here, next day here, another one over here next week?
So they want them coordinated. I don't know if coordinated means all at the same time, or if coordinated means we do it Monday, we do it Tuesday, we do it Wednesday, we do it Thursday, we do it Friday, just do 5 straight days. So, but they want it coordinated.
What kind of places do you think they're going to target?
So this is what's complicated. So Al-Qaeda's preference, as you can imagine, is symbols of the U.S. or anything that causes economic damage, right? So capital is a great symbol. I feel like bridges or any kind of public transportation always matters because it puts costs against us and it causes fear. But here's where it gets complicated. So remember, the terrorists might have their goal is they're going to attack the metro in DC, right? But remember, some of these terrorists are going to be ISIS. And remember, they can change location. So the ISIS guy might go down the metro and say, there's not many people down here. I'll kill 20, but there's a event going on. I'm going to go up there, right? Because ISIS is a little different. ISIS just wants mass casualty. In my opinion, terrorists in general just leaving Afghanistan, a lot of them are coming up through the Darien Gap to the border. And there was a big push, right? Get in the U.S. while you can. Now, not all those Al-Qaeda's attackers, right? But they came in with fake Afghan passports. They came in with fake Syrian passports, fake Turkish passports. Those are the kind of the 3 preferences because they're easiest to get. And then, if our Border Patrol agents, a lot of them haven't been overseas, right? If an Egyptian shows up at the border with a Syrian passport, is he going to know that person was a...
What she's talking about there was what we highlighted as well, that they're getting fake passports made for them. So are they going to know that where they're coming from when they have a fake name, a fake birthday, and all these other things that they've never seen before on the terror watch list, and just go, okay, come on in. Who are you voting for? Democrat Party? Perfect. Well, we could take you to Chicago, New York. I mean, any of these Democrat-ran areas, Philadelphia, they would love to have you up there. And by the way, they're going to pay for your travel expenses, your educational fees, your lawyer fees, your food, your housing, rental assistance. All that stuff is completely paid for, and you're paying for it. So then these leftists can't sit there and fathom, well, why is everything so expensive? Well, maybe because you have 25 million illegal aliens here present time, on top of the fact that thousands of them are criminals, terrorists, sex traffickers, drug trafficking, selling people off the forced labor. We can't find minimum of 340,000 children right now. But where are the Democrats on this? Remember, I'm going to highlight this. You all remember when AOC and the Democrat Party were going down there at the southern border in 2016 with their camcorders, going, they're drinking out of toilets. They're living in terrible. They're ripping children from parents' arms. When some of these parents weren't even actually their parents. They were just some freaking smuggler that came in with them as well. Yeah, remember when all that happened? They were all concerned about the children and they weren't being fed properly and they're drinking out of toilets and all these other things. Well, after they were done complaining and Joe Biden came in office and you had the COVID take place, well, Joe Biden was stuffing them in pods in these cages. Remember how they loved to use the term cages when Donald Trump was in office? Stuffing them in pods at like a 300% capacity when the CDC said they were only allowed to have 50% capacity. We showed images and video of these people packed in there like sardines, you guys. And what happened with that? Well, the Biden administration requested the CDC to expand the capacity of these cages, of these pods, to 100%. And it still wasn't enough. So during COVID, rather than doing testing on these people, they were doing a couple things. They were busing these people, these illegal immigrants, on Greyhound buses to localities. We covered all of this early on. To localities, and they were required to get testing from the localities that the bill was being footed by the taxpayers. And so the localities, the mayors of these small towns are going, yo, you're dropping all these people off and footing the bill on our end. We can't pay for this. And even back then, they were declaring local emergencies because they didn't have the money for it. So they're blowing out their own budgets there, and you were required to pay for it. And again, these left can't fathom how, oh wow, why is everything so expensive? Well, maybe it's possible that you're paying for somebody's meal, their education, their legal expenses, their moving, their transportation, their housing, all this stuff, while you're also paying for your own family. Man, that kind of makes a little bit of sense now, does it? That basically you're paying for somebody else's food, water, shelter, everything that's possible, more than even what you're getting, by the way, as a freaking American. And then you're also footing your own bill, your own insurance, and everything else. God, maybe that's why some things are just a little bit more expensive. Gee, I don't know. Well, my healthcare premiums are going up. Well, maybe you got a bunch of people here that don't belong here that are living off free health insurance and causing your premiums to go up because at the end of the day, that bill's going to be footed to you. Well, how does that work? I don't understand.
Remotely operated, or they were going to be, we do not know, but this story is just going to develop as the minutes go by.
Yeah, and worth remembering, this attacker was a U.S. citizen, 42-year-old Shamsud Din-Jabbar, born in the United States, served in the U.S. Army. The urgent question now, how and when did he become radicalized? Who aided and abetted him? The investigation and our coverage continues.
I'm Howie Mandel, the newest ambassador.
You know that thing your family
just had a commercial break. What the hell's this? Get this off my screen. We got this here for you. Elon Musk says the whole Tesla senior team is investigating this matter right now. We'll post more information as soon as we learn anything. We've never seen anything like this. Let me see. You know what? I'm gonna pull this up for you guys. I'm curious if we have a test. I've seen Teslas on fire. I don't recall ever seeing an explosion, but let's see here. No, here we go. Yeah, this is very similar. Look at this. Look at this clip. Well, that wasn't as big as what we saw. And it looks like it blew the CCTV out a little bit. Let me see if I can find another Tesla on fire for you guys. I'm trying to see if I could find one that explodes in a similar way. Man, that doesn't explode. If you guys find one, let me know. I just see them all bursting into flames. I don't see like an explosion like we saw from that Tesla, but or that a Cybertruck, but it doesn't mean it ain't a thing. So here's one that's lit on fire. Kind of like what we saw a little bit of the smoke early on. And that's what was kind of confusing, because if it started as a fire and you weren't able to get out of the car, the Cybertruck, you know, why'd you wind up dead? Did he self-detonate? I don't know. It's a big explosion. If you're just joining us, I'll show you the Cybertruck exploding in just one moment. Fireworks confirmed. Okay, I'll look. So Krager saying, check out Daily Wire. Take a little peeky at that. New Orleans. I looking for Cybertruck. This is the best. This, I guess, is the latest one. Local law enforcement are investigating the Cybertruck, as we heard from Elon Musk. The incident happened Wednesday. Yada yada yada. The drive pulled into the valet area of the hotel, and the vehicle exploded, which we did see. The driver is apparently dead, and so far the only casualty of the incident. 7 bystanders are injured as well. Investigators were working to determine whether something happened inside or outside the vehicle that triggered the explosion. There were large there you go. This is what Krager was talking about. There were large fireworks inside the vehicle that exploded, and they were working to determine if they were part of a bomb that was intentionally detonated or whether it was an accident. So here's that that clip again. So those would, I'm assuming those would be the fireworks, and that's what I thought was interesting. So shout out to Krager there in the chat for having his head on straight. I like that. Thank you, Krager. What's weird is I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of what the hell the fire. If it was a terrorist attack, what I mean, terrorists having fireworks. I mean, fireworks, yeah, they explode, but not like that. I don't know. Weird. Just weird. Odd timing. Using a Cybertruck. Elon Musk is with Trump. Elon Musk, I haven't seen anything like it. I haven't. Look, I'm looking for it. I don't know if you guys can post it. Let me know. Are there videos of Teslas or Cybertrucks exploding like that? A big ass explosion nonetheless, man.
Scarpino is live on the ground in New Orleans. But first, let's go to David Spunt. He is at the White House. He has more on this federal investigation. David.
Well, hey, Molly and Brian, so we know that there are potential other people that authorities are looking for, specifically the FBI. The FBI assistant agent in charge there said so at that news conference. I want to bring in some new reporting. Right now, the Associated Press is reporting that that agency reviewed a Louisiana State Police bulletin, intelligence bulletin, that shows that there were guns and pipe bombs also found in the suspect's vehicle. According to the Associated Press, the devices were concealed within coolers, were wired for remote detonation, and this is again from a Louisiana State Police bulletin.
Interesting.
Also, a corresponding remote control discovered inside the vehicle. Now, this is also significant. According to the same intelligence bulletin, surveillance footage, Molly, captured 3 men and a woman placing one of multiple improvised explosive devices. So certainly more to this investigation. President Biden, meanwhile, is not here at the White House today on this first day of 2025. He's at the presidential retreat in the Maryland mountains, Camp David. However, he is continuing to get updates from his team, from the Homeland Security Department, from the Justice Department, also from the FBI. I want to read something that the president actually, I want to go to, rather, some sound from President Biden on the tarmac before he took off from Delaware to go to Camp David. Watch this.
I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration. Thank you.
He didn't say much there. He said he would say more later, but he did release a statement more thoroughly that says, in part, my heart goes out to the victims and their families who were simply trying to celebrate the holiday. There's no justification for violence of any kind, and we will not tolerate any attack on any of our nation's communities. Meanwhile, the man who's moving into this White House behind me in less than 3 weeks, President-elect Donald Trump, put out a statement on social media earlier today that reads as follows. When I said that the criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts are with all the innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. Now, the former president said criminals coming in a statement, meaning into our country. But to be clear, Molly and Brian, the suspect was born in the United States. He served in the United States Army. He was a veteran. The FBI is the lead agency in this investigation, going through the social media and any other accounts associated with the suspect. But that key bulletin right there by the Louisiana State Police, the Associated Press, was first to report, shows potentially other people involved. And the FBI was cagey during that news conference as far as saddling in with a specific number of how many other suspects. Governor Jeff Landry, the Republican governor in Louisiana, said they essentially don't want to tip their hat to anybody and tell any other potential suspects or potential accomplices what they know. But President Biden continuing to get updates from afar.
Which I get why they want to hold off on some things. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, guys, hit that like button. It really does support us, not just over at Rumble, but also hit the heart button over on X, as well as hitting the like button over at YouTube. What that does is it shows interaction with the channel, and it forces the algorithm to send our videos out there to new viewers who haven't seen our content or our channel, which we're trying to grow here. And look, might as well say it now. I was going to do a separate video, but we got people in here. We got a lot of the Patriots in the chat. Our New Year's goal is 100,000 by the end of 2025. Our goal, I'm going to say that again, is 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. We're at 67,000 right now. We need 33,000. We haven't even come close. That's doubling our subscribers. We got 17,000 this year. We would have to get almost twice as much as that to get 100,000, which means I'm going to be pumping in hundreds of dollars a month into promotions for videos to get out there to new viewers so we can gain more traction, more subscribers. And with that, I need your help. So I'm funding majority of this. And if you don't have the means, please don't feel like you have to give. But we do have a membership. We do have a donation tab on my website. If you would like to donate, that's how we're going to get to it, is by putting all our money into advertising and getting to that 100,000 goal. So that is the major goal for the Bald Brad Show, is to get to 100,000 subscribers, get that check mark, that verified, and that YouTube plaque. And look, I want to give a shout out to you guys. We're a small channel, but we make a freaking big splash, man. We had almost 15 million views last year. And I would like to point something out. You guys, we're competing against the big people. These are the top lives right now on Rumble. You guys, it goes in descending order. We're right here. We're up there with Real America's Voice. You got Patriot TV. Everybody else that's ahead of us streams 24/7. Fox News. Guys, I'm telling you, we're making a splash here and a difference. This is us right here. There's only 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 people in front of us. These are multi-million-dollar companies. Newsmax, Real America's Voice has 2 of them. Hey, we're doing pretty good here. I appreciate all of you. And let's try to beat out all these people over at Rumble. And let's get ahead of all of them and really make a splash this New Year's. And shout out to everybody over at YouTube. We're making a difference over there as well. But like I said, guys, we're hitting 15 million views a year, which is bonkers for the channel that we have. I'm not complaining by any means. Hey, Brad, man, I've got a dual personality, so I can join again. Love to have you back, Paul. Always see you. Appreciate everybody in the chat here, not just over on Rumble and YouTube, but also X. Krager says, I'm no expert, but that looks like the type of fireworks for a festival fireworks show. Those have to be loaded with powder. Oh, yeah, definitely. Plus, they use mortars to propel to the sky, packed in a truck. It would be a big boom boom. Absolutely. That would have been a massive boom boom. And I agree. Yeah, fireworks can have a massive explosion. Krager said, I'll send a $5 in, Brad. Kick some ass, buddy. Thank you, Krager. That's really kind of you, man. I appreciate that. Yes. And why don't I do this? You guys, again, don't feel like you have to. This is not one of those things where if you don't have the means, please don't do it. It's just for those that want to. We have people here. There is my site. I'm going to post a tab in Rumble as well as YouTube. If you would like to, that's there for you. I said I was going to do this yesterday, but there was a plan I was going to do it today was to get Rumble fixed so we have local stay up again, up and running. But I'm going to need your guys' help to try to get to that 100,000 is what I'm saying. If you can't do it, you just watching is perfectly fine, and that's what it's all about. It's supposed to be a free show, but I know some people ask. I get a lot of emails about it, so there's the link. And some people say, where can I send money to that gives you the best benefit, the most out of it, because YouTube takes like 20-30%, is my website. I think I get like 97% of the money that comes in, so I appreciate everybody that does, and thank you. And shout out to Rumble for taking care of us as well on that end, and I appreciate everybody that is following me over at Rumble. I do get notifications here. We got a Mary Cat. We got Blossom coming in hot. Somebody else, Dee Dee just followed as well. I appreciate you. Let's see what this gentleman has to say. It's pretty badass artwork behind him.
The investigation widens up quite a bit because now you have to start looking at, is that a potential attack that was furthered by an even larger group than that? We do know that he's saying that, or that his flag and what he identified as was ISIS. So we do know that that potential is there. But as they look at these individuals, if they're able to get those individuals, it'll start to spread out quite a bit, and you'll start to see more definitive information about who he was, not just the person, but who he was and what he was believing and the people that he was connected to. I'm sure this is going to become it's already a rapid investigation, but it's going to unfold very rapidly because we have so much information. We have him, we have the truck, we have the information about these individuals, where he was from, his online presence. It's not like it used to be in 2001. Now the information is overloaded, especially in situations like this.
Jonathan, according to that Louisiana State Police Intelligence bulletin, they gave us that number, right, of the three men and a woman that's placed in and around that IED. During the press conference, though, they didn't get into any numbers. They didn't get into much specifics about who they're looking for. According to this bulletin, there is surveillance footage, but they didn't even release that. For those folks at home, why are they not releasing more information or giving people more of an idea other than saying we do not believe that this individual was solely responsible at this stage in the investigation?
Because I believe law enforcement has not evolved. This is a real issue in law enforcement. They do not progress. They do things the way they've always been done, and they don't progress. As you saw what happened with the attack against the insurance CEO in New York City, where the NYPD used the public as a force multiplier, that was thinking outside the box, and it worked. And in this case...
They've been doing that for a while. Come on, man. I want to post this to all of you right here. Oh, where'd it go? I just lost it right here. So this is the left losing their minds over Donald Trump's post. This is how they think, you guys. Seriously, stop constant lies. Real Donald Trump. Trump is a liar. So Chris Mowry says, we've learned that the person involved in the tragedy in New Orleans was a U.S. citizen radicalized by ISIS. Does this not infuriate you? Trump doesn't give a damn about us. He's intentionally misleading the country and using people's pain for his own, I imagine, own political gain. They're not, you guys. It's a really an astonishing thing. Here it is again. They're not able to do this. It's impossible for them to be able to make any sort of connection there to what he's talking about. So this was the post earlier by Donald Trump. When I said that criminals coming in are far worse than the criminals we have in our country, that statement was constantly refuted by Democrats and the fake news media, but it turned out to be true. The crime rate in our country is at a level that nobody has ever seen before. Our hearts were with all those innocent victims and their loved ones, including the brave officers of the New Orleans Police Department. The Trump administration will fully support the city of New Orleans as they investigate and recover from this act of pure evil. They're not able to make the connection that Donald Trump is talking about illegal immigration, and that through illegal immigration, there's also terrorists here, with the full understanding that this guy was allegedly a American-born citizen that committed a terrorist attack. The conversation surrounding that, if this American was here on American soil and committed this type of attack, can you imagine the thousands of other terrorists that were allowed into the interior of the country that are committing crimes all around, not to mention illegal immigrants that are committing the crimes as well that should have never been here in the first place? So they're not able to do it, is what I'm saying. It's really a remarkable thing that we're able to make those connections here, but they're not. Donald Trump's fully aware, and he's getting intelligence as well as the president-elect to be next president in 19 days. Thank God. And this stuff is going to continue, though, you guys. All these attacks are going to continue under Donald Trump's administration because Joe Biden allowed thousands of people in here. You guys, it's going to take years. It's going to take freaking years to get this whole thing sorted out. And I just want to make sure that everybody's aware of that, because Donald Trump's going to be to blame when there's another terrorist attack in the next, 3 years. And nobody's going to be able to make that connection to Joe Biden. It's all going to be Donald Trump. Oh, Donald Trump should have solved this. He should have fixed it. You have breaking here from Houston. FBI Houston and the Harris County Sheriff's Office are currently conducting law enforcement activity near the intersection of Hugh Road and Crescent Peak Drive in North Houston. We have secured a perimeter in that area and are asking people to avoid the area. FBI Houston personnel and specialized teams will be on site for several hours. This activity is related to this morning's New Orleans attack, but due to the ongoing nature of the investigation, no further information can be provided. Is this the guy's house? And these are the people that are connected to it. Very interesting stuff that is taking place here. Would like to give a shout out to Scuba Steve 72 for following us over at Rumble. Thank you again, folks. We do a live show every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Get your news early. We do it live, and it's an hour-long show, weekdays, Monday through Friday. So follow us over on Rumble as well as YouTube and X to get all that news bright and early when you wake up in the morning. Come have a cup of coffee with all the patriots in the chat. Everybody you're seeing in the chat now is with us every single morning. We're going to keep you updated on what the hell is going on here. So these are the most recent news. I'm going to hit my homepage really quick. Jabbar was flagged and barred from re-enlistment circa 2014 for an incident that happened while he was on his way out of the 82nd Airborne Division and Army from a normal ETS. He wasn't allowed to join the National Guard because of it. God, you think there's a little bit of a few red flags there, folks? There's always red flags, and we always seem to miss them. That's why we need to get the FBI the hell out of office. CNN, a local law enforcement official briefed on the Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside the Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas, tells CNN that the incident is now being investigated as a possible terror attack. Let's check this out.
We have this just in. A law enforcement official briefed on that Tesla Cybertruck explosion outside of Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas tells CNN that the incident is now being investigated as a possible terrorist act. Police say it took place at around 8:40 a.m. local time. There was one person inside the vehicle who died, and 7 other people suffered minor injuries. The FBI is involved in this investigation, and we are going to stay on top of the story and bring you updates as we.
Well, there you have that one, folks. Let's see what else here. GOP listed that. Matter of fact, let's go to RNC Research. Sometimes they have some pretty good stuff being posted, and it looks like they only have Donald Trump at his Mar-a-Lago being posted. Sometimes the Trump War Room has stuff. Let's check out. Oh, there you go. That's the one I was looking at. Was Ashley St. Clair was posting earlier about the vehicle. So let me see if I could find that where she mentioned. Did she take it down? There you go. Turns out the Cybertruck battery failure the media was talking about was actually a shit ton of explosives, which kind of goes into what Krager was talking about being the fireworks that were in there as well. Let's see what else is being posted here. You got Tim Pool seems to be a threat to Elon and Trump. The whole Tesla senior team is investigating the matter right now. If you have that type of explosion, like Krager was mentioning and the other patriots in the chat, yeah, it could definitely be the fireworks, but that's a big ass explosion nonetheless. And why was that guy just sitting in the vehicle while it was on fire? Did something happen? Was he having an emergency? Is he having a heart attack? What's going on here? If you're just joining us, the FBI is in Houston right now. And remember, the the Ford was picked up crossing the border in November. Now, it is a rented vehicle, so that could just be, happenstance taking place. But a lot of stuff seems to be just kind of happening right now and kicking off the new year. So just terrible with what is taking place in New Orleans, what's taking place with people being victimized by illegal immigrants across the country. Again, I'm fully aware that the guy that committed this terrorist attack was a U.S. citizen. FBI is announcing this right now. This is breaking. Here you go, folks. FBI Houston and the Harris County Sheriff's Office are currently conducting a law enforcement activity near the intersection of Hugh. We read that. What could this possibly be about? I don't know. But now all eyes are on what's going on here with the FBI, what's going on with everything. It's a freaking nuts, man. The news is coming out faster than I could sit there and siphon through it. So I appreciate everybody kind of buckling down with me here on Rumble, X, and Twitter, and just being understanding that, look, I'm one guy running this myself. I'm not a multi-million-dollar company. We don't even make millions here on the show. We make hundreds, if that. So, and all the money pours back into the show itself. So if you can hit that like and subscribe button, we greatly appreciate it. I'm a one-man controlling the panel myself, controlling the news, reading through it, siphoning it, and reading your chats. A lot happening here. Appreciate y'all. Nonetheless, thank you so much for choosing my channel to get your news. Dixie says, yeah, it does look like a message to Trump and Elon to me. That's what's weird, right? Is that they made it a Cybertruck and then it explodes and it's in front of Trump Tower. It's a very weird coincidence if it is. And it is something that kind of does pique your antennas up a little bit, right? That's like, oh, that's a little weird. That doesn't make much sense. So I think there's some definitely some truth to what's going on there, that we should be concerned about what's taking place. Obama military purge led to this. There is some truth to that too, Dave. A lot of people forget that the Obama administration wanted to remove a lot of our military bases around the country. Matter of fact, in Southern California, one of the big ones he was trying to remove was the Seal Beach Naval Weapons Station that arms our shipping vessels right there on the port of Seal Beach. Wanted to remove that. Wanted to destroy a lot of what's going on there. And so does Joe Biden, to be honest. I mean, Joe Biden is really funding terrorism. I keep saying that. And for some reason, it doesn't get traction from the mainstream media that Joe Biden is giving millions, if not billions, to terrorism around the world. Well, I mean, what are the odds that the money that was being funneled in from what took place here was what could be tracked to Joe Biden? I'd be curious. I don't think it's as outlandish as people are making it out to be. It's definitely possible. We were warned by Sean Ryan, again, the CIA targeter, that things were going to happen here in 2025. And hell, who would have thought that the freaking day one, mere hours, maybe minutes after the ball drop, that this stuff takes place? Don't worry, Democrats have it under control. And then the Democrats in the mainstream media can't fathom why we elected Donald Trump in, because he's a guy that wants to protect this country and make it a better place and not have terrorists run all across the country and sniff out the people that would maybe potentially commit crimes like this. Gee, I don't know. Seems pretty logical to me, but to some, it's just insane. They can't wrap their head around it. They're NPCs, is what I call them. NPCs. They're the progressive left. There is no logic, reason, or really anything going on in their freaking head, and they'll vote for Kamala again, that wanted to exacerbate this issue that we're seeing right here. I mean, these are the same people that voted Democrat that would have voted for Joe Biden as well, because they really believe that he would solve this problem. He said, just give me 4 more years, is what he said. That's an actual quote. Kamala was the same thing. I bring this up all the time while we're waiting for Fox News to come back up with updates. Remember how Joe Biden and Kamala Harris pretty much held the the United States, I guess we could say, as hostage, going, if you were to reelect me, I will do this or that. It's all the way back in July. What do you mean that if you were to be reelected, you're going to do certain things? You have 6 months now. You could have just done all these great programs and everything over the last 4 years, especially right when you came in the office. All of a sudden, you have these great ideas when you had all 3 branches of government. It's crazy.
Terror attack did not act alone and are looking to determine the suspect's potential associations and affiliations with terrorist organizations. Paul Murrow, retired NYPD inspector. He joins us now live for more on all of this, the security plan. We want to start off. I do want to start off with what we know about that Louisiana intelligence bulletin that's being just talked about in the Associated Press. Molly brought it up with our last guest. In that bulletin, they talk about the fact that they saw 3 men and a woman placing one of multiple improvised explosive devices. Now, this is according to the Associated Press, which saw that Louisiana State Police intelligence bulletin. Paul, do you have any insight as to more as to what that bulletin actually shows?
There's some video that is circulating that appears to show a group of people that approach a styrofoam, well, it looks like a cooler of some sort, and they handle it. Now, I don't know that that's exactly what this refers to. What's actually going on is a little unclear to me, and it may very well be unclear to the people investigating this. But I think what the salient point here is that there's likely been an assessment of a couple of things. First of all, they've probably already determined some contacts that the accused may have had or appears to have had in the area. But furthermore, the idea that if they can place him in the truck at a particular time, but yet the devices that were planted elsewhere, there reportedly are 2 different devices that were planted away from the scene where all of this occurred. Well, then that argues that obviously he couldn't have been 2 places at once. And in that presser, they were quite unequivocal, despite the fact that I was caveating that information because I felt it was sourced from what soft from my sourcing. But they seem to be quite convinced that there are other pieces involved here. And so that bulletin likely goes to that video, and that's who they're looking for.
Paul, one of the things that's being also reported by the AP regarding that bulletin is that there were corresponding remote controls discovered inside the vehicle, which I thought was interesting. Your thoughts?
Yeah, if that is the case, then it looks like he had wired this thing so that he could remotely detonate it if the plan didn't go according to how he wanted it. It argues that the fast response of the New Orleans police, once he got around those bollards, very well may have saved a worse situation. I don't know the relative strength of the explosives, but certainly with all that, the crowd around and the shrapnel that would have resulted. Reportedly, the other 2 devices were pipe bombs that were laden with nails. So these things were devised for maximum lethality.
That's
and
news.
He was somebody who has a military footprint, reportedly 10 years. So he may very well have had a viable device in that vehicle. And with if it's an electric vehicle, which is, again, the reporting, a lithium battery that can go up, those things, go on fire, sometimes even without an initiator. So it looks like maybe something even worse may well have been averted.
Paul, we had been talking about other car ramming terrorist attacks, and earlier this morning
we did cover those other car ramming terrorist attacks. We'll come back to that in just one moment. Again, folks, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, hit that like and subscribe button. A lot of people wonder, how do you have so much energy in the morning, Brad? You do a 6 a.m. podcast Monday through Friday. Well, folks, have you heard about the recent advertising scandal? Well, let me break it down for you. CEO of Rumble, Chris Pavlovsky, recently released an email from Inspired Brands of Dunkin' Donuts. The email explicitly states that the right-wing culture of Rumble is too polarizing. In other words, Dunkin' has a problem with right-wing culture and wants nothing to do with it or Rumble. So here's the solution. Stop buying products that don't support you and start supporting brands that do support you. The competing coffee brand that we all need to get behind is Rumble1775coffee.com. That was what I was drinking during the show, and I'm completely out of it. I need a refill. For a limited time, Rumble's offering buy 2 bags and get 1 free. That's actually a hot deal. Again, that for a limited time, Rumble's offering buy 2 bags of coffee and get 1 free. And if you're joining us each and every morning, you're going to go through that coffee pretty damn quick. Go to Rumbles1775coffee.com. Again, that's 1775coffee.com, and enter promo code Duncan to get this limited time deal. Again, that's 1775coffee.com. Use promo code here. And use promo code Duncan along with the QR code to get that limited time deal. I'm going to keep that up on the screen just for a little bit for everybody that's there. It's also a great gift for New Year's. Good ass coffee, I'm telling you. A lot of you like that medium roast. I prefer the dark roast. That's how you get this beard. A lot of you were like commenting on how I shaved off the beard a while ago. Well, it's back, I told you, and look how good it looks. That's the coffee. It'll put hair on your chest. Ladies, make sure you get that coffee. And if you don't want hair on your chest, get it for your husband. But I appreciate Rumble a lot. They really do take care of us. Love that promo code, as do I. Duncan, it's so good. A lot of people get upset when I do a Trump impression. I'm not making fun of Trump. I voted for him 3 times. I love the man. Intermission. We do not have intermission. There's no intermissions here. They just haven't come up with really any news lately other than the nails in there. Now, I'm going to connect something here that nobody's maybe thinking of. The Butler assassination. Remember, that little dweeb, that scumbag that shot Donald Trump in the head, you guys all remember that he had explosives and he had explosive caps. There's only two ways of getting those, folks. You're either making them or you're buying them, and they track that stuff in detail. So my question is, on these explosive devices that you need caps if they're going to be remotely detonated, you're either making them or you're buying them. And we never got any information out from that Butler assassination. They cremated the guy's body before the coroner even knew. Isn't that crazy? There could be a connection. I'm just saying there might be a connection here to the blasting caps that are being used by these individuals, and the blasting caps are maybe used by the guy that shot Donald Trump in the head in Butler, Pennsylvania. They know where those blasting caps came from. You're telling me that idiot that couldn't even shoot a rifle correctly, and thank God he couldn't, is going to make blasting caps? Really? Talk to any chemist out there, and they'll tell you how serious that stuff is and how easy it is for that stuff to ignite if you screw up. No way in hell that dweeb made a freaking one blasting cap, let alone multiple. No way in hell. And his dad didn't know about it. The guy just crafted stuff. Look at me, what I'm doing, Dad. I'm making blasting caps. And the parents just didn't know. Sure. Yeah. All sounds suspicious to me.
Right. And Paul, real quick here, with the number of people that they're looking at, is this a manhunt? Can we say that this is a manhunt for more suspects?
Yeah, as I said, I was being cautious about that, but they were pretty unequivocal about it in that presser, which I would characterize as maybe not the shining moment of press conferences, but nonetheless, they seem to indicate unequivocally that they are looking for associates. So if that's the case, then yeah, we are looking at a manhunt. And I think they're asking the public for help, but they didn't give us a whole lot to work with. Nope. So I'm just hoping that whatever they roll up here, they roll up quickly, because if there are other people out there with devices, we're still in a great deal of danger.
Yeah, and the Sugar Bowl is supposed to happen tomorrow night, which is kind of an interesting thing that they would even give that a date if there is potentially a manhunt here. But Paul Morrow, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you.
Coming up, more coverage on the deadly New Orleans terror attack and breaking down how it was all possible.
Customize and... All right, so here's more information about the guy that just came out. So the guy that killed 10 people was born in the U.S., lived in Texas, allegedly. Special agent in charge, Duncan, said afternoon press conference that he was an Army veteran. He was honorably discharged. They're working the process to figure out all the information. Criminal record. He had 2 minor crimes, 2002, 2005. So the guy's been around for a while, according to documents reviewed by Fox News Digital. He was charged with a misdemeanor theft in Katy, Texas, and in 2005 with driving with an invalid license. Okay. Voting record. His Texas registration has no party affiliation, according to records reviewed by Fox News Digital. He previously resided in North Carolina, where in 2012 he was registered as a Democrat. The recent terrorist attack in New Orleans comes on the heels of devastating German Christmas market attack in December. The incident, which was investigated as a terrorist act, 5 people reportedly killed and more than 200 were injured, which there is video clips of that German Christmas market, which is very reminiscent of what we're seeing here. And it's just kind of crazy that we don't ever really get any news on all this stuff. Like I mentioned, we still don't have any idea what's going on in Butler, Pennsylvania, but that guy shoots that health CEO, and we know everything about that guy's whole history. We know everything. We know what he ate the previous day. I mean, it's remarkable that whenever there's a terrorist attack where we don't know nothing, or a trans person goes shoots up the school, we're not allowed to see the manifesto or anything like that. But yeah, that's breaking. He was a registered Democrat before. What year did it say that he was a registered Dem? 2012. Who was in office in 2012? Barack Obama. Which means maybe he's a Joe Biden fan. So, crazy, crazy, crazy. If you appreciate what you're seeing, folks, thank you for choosing my channel. We do a show. I'm going to keep saying this and plugging it every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We have other news here. So here we go on this one. Breaking: first victims of New Orleans terror attack identified. Among those killed was 18-year-old, very hard name to pronounce, 37-year-old Reggie Hunter and 27-year-old Tiger Beach. Very terrible news. Completely sad. People just trying to ring in the new year, and a heinous crime. Not a terror attack. FBI earlier today. Remember, the FBI did come out and say that there wasn't a terrorist attack, and so it looks like that picture that came from DC Drano from somebody that was there is. Here's the flag. I guess I'm using this as a not definitive because I can't see what's around, but that's a potential photo. It looks like a photo that's taken off a screen. We'll see there. Crazy news. Again, FBI found something, it seems like, in Houston. We'll see what's going on with that. Breaking: General Flynn just warned that Democrats could use all these acts of terrorism to remain in power. Don't discount a scenario where this White House considers deploying U.S. military forces on the streets of America to provide security assistance. I think it's a little bit of a stretch, but it's not out of the realm of possible with the Democrat Party, seeing what they've done in the past. They like to use January 6th as a cudgel to us Republicans. But like I mentioned, we still don't know much information about January 6th because they love to cover that up too, which is more reason why we need Kash Patel to be the FBI director so he can release all the information to us, because we had reports years ago here on the show that there was 200 FBI agents on the ground, or at least from 3-letter agencies during January 6th, that were enabling this type of behavior, and some of them even acting out in the behavior itself and then blaming it on Trump supporters while they were dressed in Trump garb and attire. So this guy could get banned pretty quickly, so we could just go ahead and remove him forever. Yeah, I see the spam. I got it. Look at that. I do it all. He's banned pretty quickly. Really weird, though, how you would have... So just to be clear, you guys, because there's a lot of people on other platforms, we just went ahead and banned somebody here, right here, for spamming. I would like to point out that this dude or gal, whoever it was, we're talking about terrorism right now, and they come in and spam a bunch of stuff. Right after I get done talking about how the guy was a registered Democrat. It's a little odd. A lot of keyboard warriors out there. They've lost their freaking minds. A lot of people have lost their minds, man. There are a lot of freaking NPCs walking around. I keep saying, man, some of these, I just don't, it doesn't make sense to me. So here's that original attack. A lot of people are just joining us. So here's the original video of the guy in the pickup truck making a hard right and just plowing over through a bunch of people. You can see the pole there with the flag. And he's sitting in traffic. And what you're going to see is that he's going to pull forward and he's going to go past the squad car at the intersection. And I mean, he really does hook it hard right. And he just kind of takes off there. So here it comes. He's going to hit the intersection here in just one moment. You're going to see him pass by a squad car. It's coming up right about now. He's coming up to the squad car. He's going to pass it, hit the curb, and he's going to freaking look at this hard right. And boom, and just takes off. So again, he comes past. Now, this is the conversation that was being had, right? There was supposed, I mean, if this is the intersection they're talking about, there's supposed to be barricades here, not on the sidewalks themselves, but here, because they usually block off the street anyways, it was for refurbishment and repairs. And so part of the press briefing was, hey, was there at least some sort of protection or barrier taking place that's going to block this guy off? Well, no. This was it. It was just a squad car. And so what he did was he went past the squad car. I don't know how much room's there because sometimes these angles throw you off. But it looks like he goes right here. He hooks it hard right. And people are saying that he drove up onto the curb. And that very well is possible because it looks like he hit some people here. And just blows past it and just goes. Wild stuff. Binky, thank you so much. 10,000X for following us over on Rumble. Again, I get notified every time somebody goes live. Thank you so much for the follow. Again, we go live 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every single morning. I keep saying it, keep reiterating it. I'm bringing you guys the latest and greatness. What is Bad Dan? Oh. You don't know Bad Dan? Should we play that video while we're waiting for more news? Shib doesn't know the epic rants, the Dan video. So we have a good Dan here in the chat. He's a longtime supporter, but there's also a bad Dan. Yeah, there is a bad Dan, believe it or not. Let me see if I can find that video for you. of the epic rant that we did. And if you want to get a little bit of synopsis of what happens when somebody enters in the chat that's of the left, well, let me tell you, it could get pretty spicy. I have to filter through a lot of videos to find it. But it was one of our bigger videos, and I guess I could just sort by views, where a guy by the name of Dan, he's a Democrat, thought it was a good idea to try to say some stuff about Republicans. And I have it here queued up. Oh, no, that's, leftist troll. Here we go. Why don't we play this? It'll be kind of fun. Something a little bit different while we're waiting for more news to cover. Kind of odd watching myself, but I guess we'll do it. When Kamala Harris, hey, Dan, tell us how that taxation is really going to work out when Kamala Harris wants to impose 70 to 90% of taxes upon American citizens. Hey, Dan, tell us exactly how it's helpful that the Iranians are sitting there receiving all this funding from the Biden-Harris administration, but yet they're supporting the Houthis blowing our merchant vessels out of the sea. Hey, Dan, why don't you go ahead and tell us the fact that the Biden-Harris administration is giving the Taliban $87 million of our money that's ultimately going to funding terrorism across the globe. Hey, Dan, tell us how the Biden-Harris administration has allowed over 1,000 illegal aliens to cross the country illegally. That's going to harm your family as well as my family. Hey, Dan, explain all those things to me that I just pulled off the top of my head of what you're going to vote for. Really weird watching myself. Yo, I really love that all the patrons in the chat is like, Shiv doesn't know. So this was, I guess, one of our viral moments here on the show in 2024, which we might as well play while we're waiting for more news to uncover here. There's a guy named Dan. There's a good Dan and a bad Dan. There's a patriot Dan, and then there's the Dan here on the left that wanted to come in here and talk some crap. And this is Dan. This is me. Who is this guy? Look at this guy right here. Who's this guy, Dan? You have a show? Wow, aren't you cool? Were you bored playing marbles with your friends or playing cowboys and Indians? You are a child. I'll tell you what, it's odd that a Democrat's talking about children. It's really weird. Joe Biden sniffs children, and Democrats are allowing children to be raped and killed, but he's talking about children to all of us, you guys. He was somewhere else in here. Here he is. Triggered. Your delusion comes from reflexive, snappy comebacks. Right in the box. I love when the left comes in here. I told you guys, they come in. They say asinine things. There's not a single comeback this guy has said in terms of what we've shown that's wrong. You guys all see this tool. Now, is he talking about me? I think so. Or he's talking about Kamala Harris. I can't tell which one. I can't. I love it. I love when they come in because it just shows who they are. Oh, he's back. Real Americans don't need this bleep. I have no idea why this crap popped up on my feed. Ease up on the testosterone, boys. Josh Hawley would know a real man. God, you guys are entertaining. Hey, Dan, we love having you in here, buddy. Maybe you'll actually get some truth in you once and for all. It's been a while. But, Dan, just give us a few reasons in the chat for all us patriots on why you're going to go vote for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. I want to point out, everybody, Dan, stick around for a bit because you're about to get your ass kicked. Hey, Dan, before I knock your teeth in with what I'm about to say, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button because we would really want you to join the community here. Hey, Dan, just go ahead and tell us how Kamala Harris and Joe Biden fixed the economy. Tell us how you have to make $15,000 or more under Joe Biden Harris than you did under Donald Trump. Tell us how you enjoy paying higher health care premiums because of Kamala Harris. Tell us you enjoy paying increased interest rates on mortgages for Americans all across the country. Tell us how you love having the Afghanistan pullout and giving billions of dollars of military-grade equipment to the Taliban, of which killed Americans for the last 2 decades. Tell us how you enjoy pulling out of Afghanistan and allowing the men and women to ultimately be raped in various cases and also be murdered, being thrown in cells and dipped into pools and ultimately drowned alive. Hey, Dan, tell us how you enjoy allowing these terrorists to receive $10 billion of humanitarian aid from the Biden-Harris administration. Hey, Dan, why don't you go ahead and tell us how you love paying increase in electricity, grocery prices, because your party doesn't want to sit there and actually allow fracking and increase drilling. Hey, Dan, go ahead and tell us how minimum wage increase really helps the localities. Hey, Dan, tell us how those smash and grabs are really working out for Southern California in terms of if you don't steal anything under $950 or less, nothing happens to you. Hey, Dan, tell us how those no cash bails really work out for those Americans that are murdered, raped, and killed by those criminals that were allowed out by Democrats. Hey, Dan, tell us how that taxation is really going to work out when Kamala Harris wants to impose 70 to 90% of taxes upon American citizens. Hey, Dan, tell us exactly how it's helpful that the Iranians are sitting there receiving all this funding from the Biden-Harris administration, but yet they're supporting the Houthis blowing our merchant vessels out of the sea. Hey, Dan, why don't you go ahead and tell us the fact that the Biden-Harris administration is giving the Taliban $87 million of our money that's ultimately going to funding terrorism across the globe. Hey, Dan, tell us how the Biden-Harris administration has allowed over 1,000 illegal aliens to cross the country illegally that's going to harm your family as well as my family. Hey, Dan, explain all those things to me that I just pulled off the top of my head of what you're going to vote for. But don't worry, we're triggered, you guys. We don't know what the hell's going on. We're saying a bunch of nonsense in here. We don't have a damn clue. Hey, Dan, let's just go a step further. Screw the show for a second because I want to highlight this crap. Hey, Dan, explain to me why your own party has to sit there and board up businesses for the Democratic National Convention over the weekend. Explain to me why you allowed your party to burn down our city, specifically black businesses in Minneapolis and other. Explain to me why you allowed the Democrat Party to take entire city blocks like Chop and Chaz that we saw in Portland, Oregon, and just take it over where people are allowed to do drugs, murder each other, as well as gang rape one another. Explain to me that one. Explain to me why Biden is so lax on the terrorism that's taken across the globe, where these people are sitting there burning live babies at the stakes, having the mother watch it, and then once the baby's dead and crisp, having the mother eat it in front of everybody else, and then they're going to gang rape her after they eat her baby. Explain that one to me, Dan. But don't worry, you guys, we're just triggered. We don't know what the hell's going on here. Our mind is completely out there because we don't deal in reality. Hey, Dan, explain to me why your party's getting vasectomies and abortions in a fucking motorhome at the DNC. Explain that one to me. Hey, Dan, go ahead and explain to me why your party is crippling this country and you're being lax on China after they just gave a COVID-19 Wuhan virus to the rest of the globe and shut everything down and crippled the average American. And again, now you have to make more money under Joe Biden than you did under Donald Trump just to break even. Explain to me why people are struggling to buy homes. Explain to me why the illegal immigration is so bad in this country that now you've not only inflated our own country, but you inflated foreign countries because they're coming here and sending their money back and affording homes back then. That's causing the price to alleviate, or rather I said increase, in other countries. So I think we can end it there, folks. Should we keep going? God, dude, fuck. I forgot about it. I remember the whole thing, but I don't remember going on for a 6 minute straight just slapping the shit out of Dan. I just appreciate you guys' comments in the chat while I'm doing those. My comment was, my coffee was strong this AM. Glad I didn't miss the show. Yeah, Mud Whistle with the $50 for that rant. Oh, God, I forgot about that. So, Shib, yeah, you missed that. That was 4 months ago. Oh, damn. Should we repost that? I mean, that was a good video. That has almost 8,500 views for us. That one was pretty good. Should we repost that? Yeah, that didn't do too bad here. Hey, we have merchandise if you guys want to pick up some of that stuff. Damn, dude, Dan got freaking... I think I remember talking to my wife about that. I was like, hey, do you think I went too hard on that guy? Like, I kind of felt bad, because, he's just the average Joe probably walking in and just didn't know what he was getting himself into. Wow. Well, yeah, Shib, you missed that. That was a while ago. Let's get back to the updates, though, and what's going on here. That felt pretty good. A little odd watching myself. I'll be honest with you. Let me get the news here up running. I kind of closed a few tabs out for myself. Didn't want to do any lag. 5 hours ago, trending now. Let's see here. What's going on in trending? Let's pull this up for you. No, don't feel bad at all. Well, repost so I can share it. Okay, yeah, I can find that for you. I can post that video for you guys if you want to share with your friends and family. The rant of the 2024. Maybe I'll repost that and make that a video itself again. Sorry, 1 second. Let me get things going. You guys can check out what I have posted right now. Well, you got a little bit of flavor of what happens on the show. Again, it is not scripted. It is live, and it's ran by yours truly, Bald Brad here. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to run. I'm trying to figure out how I could find the video. I just watched it in my history. There we go. Hey, Dan, tell us how that taxation's really good. All right. Bam. Bam. And then we'll paste it over at YouTube as well, and we'll pin it. So if you want to find it, you can. Yeah, share that with your friends and family, and maybe they'll enjoy it. It's a little bit of an epic rant. Here we go. President Biden 5 hours ago. Didn't he tell us he was going to come out with something like an hour? Probably fell asleep. Makes me wonder if he actually knows what's going on. It's past his bedtime. I have been continually briefed since early this morning regarding the horrific incident that occurred in New Orleans overnight. The FBI is taking the lead in the investigation and is investigating this incident as an act of terrorism. I will continue to receive updates throughout the day, and I will have more to say as we further information to share. I mean, this was 5 hours. What do you mean you have more to share? Do you have anything new here? No, it's 5 hours ago. We haven't been updated in 5 hours. Why is it a big deal? Because remember how they ripped Donald Trump for not speaking earlier about January 6th? That he waited hours? This is an actual terrorist attack. Oh, well, they're running over our government. They're going to sit there and take it over. Hey, come on. Last night should have been a joyous celebration for the new year. Instead, a horrific incident occurred. No, it's not an incident. It's a terrorist. Oh, here we go. Now we get Kamala Harris speaking up. Oh, here, this is what I was looking for. An incident, my ass. This lady, dude. She says, last night should have been a joyous celebration of the new year. Instead, a horrific incident occurred that left the New Orleans community mourning. The FBI is investigating this incident as an act of terrorism. So it's not an incident then, it's a terrorist attack. It's a little bit escalated than an incident, isn't it? The reason why I want to highlight that verbiage is because everything that's been involved with the southern border was just a situation. And I'm using that word very clearly because that was what was echoed early on by Jen Psaki, the prior White House press secretary, before Karine Jean-Pierre got put on that podium. And then it was deemed as a challenge. Yeah, it was a challenge. And then I kid you not, so it went from a situation to a challenge to a problem. And then at its peak, it still wasn't even a challenge. They actually downgraded it back to a situation. At no point, there was sporadic where John Kirby a couple times said that it was a crisis and he let it slip. And so did Joe Biden. But then they just started calling it a challenge again. So this is just an incident, you guys. Yeah, it's just a minor track. There you go. Yes, exactly. Lulu took the words right out of my mouth. A minor traffic incident. That's all it was. Yeah, it wasn't a terrorist attack. President Biden and I will continue to be briefed on this investigation. Our team remains in a close contact with local officials. Any attack on our communities is reprehensible and unacceptable. Then why are you allowing all these attacks of illegal immigrants to happen all across the country? Again, I want to emphasize the guy that did this terrorist attack was a U.S. citizen and a veteran and a registered Democrat as of 2012. But why are you allowing people to light other people on fire? That's my question. Remember that lady that was just lit on fire all but like a week ago on the subway train by an illegal immigrant? Weird there. Kamala, anything from her in the last couple hours? Nope, that was it. Yep. Sure glad we can count on them. The same people that never went to East Palestine, Ohio when there's a train derailment. The same people that took forever, if not didn't go at all, to the southern border when asked. And flew over the border, and then they finally went there and had a 3-hour vacation. Never actually talked to an illegal immigrant, never spoke to an illegal immigrant, never saw an illegal immigrant, cleared the area out when there's thousands of them roaming around the streets like aimless freaking NPCs. Yeah, didn't do anything. So that's good. Brad, look into that no police chief. She has a history of incompetence. Oh yeah, no, his servant. We covered it. Yeah, the DEI hire. Yeah, we covered it here on the show. And we can go back to that if you guys would like the incompetence, the DEI hire of the police chief. Yeah, we posted it. Let's see who else is posting here on X as we're covering this. Potential IED, Superdome. I'm trying to see if there's any updates here as we're covering this. Fox is just back on commercial breaks. It seems like they're doing more commercial breaks than they are actual news. Need a new Dan? No, we have a Dan in here. We have a couple Dans that are good. That guy's never appeared back again. I mean, left don't like coming in here anymore because we slap them around so much. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. No, you're good, dude. Don't worry about it. Doge! Jeff is here. Good to see you, Jeff. So funny meme of Granny with the Beverly Hillbillies and the police chief. Did people post that? Some people are super funny with their stuff. Oh, look at so okay. Benny was looking at the same two videos we were. These are the same two videos that we were looking at, was it not? So it says here, Tesla battery fire versus Trump hotel cyber explosion. But what Krager, one of the patriots in the chat, emphasizes, there's fireworks in this car. There's no fireworks in this car down here. So, I mean, you can literally see the fireworks exploding right here, right? This one doesn't. So I don't know. But why would you be at a Trump hotel with a bunch of fireworks in the back of a Cybertruck? It's all weird, man. And this is what 2025 is going to look like. Weird. Super weird. Do you think Trump called Elon? Elon, what the fuck? What are you doing? We'll see. Oh, yeah, I'm trying to make a little light of a terrible situation that's going on here. Nothing much. Libs at TikTok was the one that actually posted the DEI stuff earlier, and we have that right here. New Orleans police chief was an FBI instructor for bias and diversity. New Orleans FBI recently held a diversity recruiting event. Oh, lovely. What do we have here? This is a very simplified resume. Years of command level, 21 years of command level experience. Why is this? Oh, it's a 7-page. Jesus. Okay. Master instructor. There you go. Bias and diversity, emotional intelligence. Oh, okay. Emotional intelligence, not the intelligence you use with your head, but with your emotions. That's great. No, you should make all your decisions off emotions. That's going to get you places. Yeah. This is her. Is holding a diversity agent recruiting event. And we want to meet you. Agents and FBI executives will provide first-hand information about a rewarding career. Apply now to see if you qualify for the July 17th event. Yeah. Yep. A bunch of DEI hires. That's lovely. That's what's going to save this country, is a bunch of men thinking that they're women dressed in skirts storming the beaches of wherever. That's really great stuff. The chief police of New Orleans is from California after she ran over 2 people and sued the city for $1.5 million and won. Shelly Belly, she won. From Oakland, California, believe it or not. And that's my home state, and that's the type of stuff we produce here. Whenever you see somebody from California that's a politician, you should run. And that's why you're going to have Gavin Newsom and Kamala Harris running in 2028, God forbid. They're not going anywhere. The New Orleans terrorist has been identified and is reportedly carrying an ISIS flag, according to NOLA, which we already know as of right now. Still waiting for Fox to come back from commercial break. And you're like, Brad, they're still on commercial break? Yeah, they're still on commercial. Fox, get it together. Get it together, Fox, please. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, can you guys hit that like button over at Rumble? There's almost 200 people here, and we only have 24 likes on Rumble. It would greatly help me, and I'd appreciate your help on that, please. And then over at YouTube, a little bit lower viewership, which is weird. I've always said this. We have a lot of likes, so we have more likes than viewers, which is great. YouTube, we have 67,000 subscribers, and we have more people watching over at Rumble with less than 2,000 than we do on YouTube, which is really odd. Hello, Legacy. Hi, I'm just here getting my news from Bald because you vacuum hard. Truth hurts. I don't know who Legacy is. Did I miss something in the chat here? Is that Legacy Media? Appreciate you, Misha.
Likely not. It's likely at least 5 or 6. But this is something the FBI will look at. The fortunate part about our country is that we have a force in place, any place within the United States, actually within the world. And the FBI will be on this. They'll be doing a lot of investigations. They'll do them with task forces, police officers, and other federal agents. And I think this thing is starting to unravel now. And you're going to see a lot of things breaking within the next 4 or 5 hours.
All right, Danny, one of the other things that really stands out is the truck involved here. They say the truck, per Bill Malugin, who has excellent sources, multiple border law enforcement sources, saying that the truck has a history of plate readers at the borders in a pattern that may be suspicious for human smuggling. Your thoughts?
That could be. The border's wide open. I know some of our officials say it's not. It's closed down. It's wide open. It's the Wild West down there. And it could be used for smuggling. It can be used for terrorism. It can be used for just about anything. And that's why we have to secure that border, lock it down so we know who's coming across and what they're driving, and give us some information. We're living in a lawless land right now. And this is just not working out for us. And we need to close down the border, start focusing on law enforcement, and support our local police. It's not a time to be.
Danny, thanks for your time again.
We're
running short on time, but thank you for your insight. Very much appreciated. Folks, we'll have more on this breaking story after this break, as those injured are still fighting for their lives in area hospitals. Next.
Well, they're back on commercial. It's astonishing how many commercial breaks they're getting. That means they don't have any news. They don't know what the heck is going on. But we do. People keep saying we need a new Dan. You mean like a new leftist Dan to come in? The left don't come in here anymore. They're too scared. Honestly, if I saw that video and I was a leftist, I probably wouldn't come in either. That's why Harris didn't want to close the border. She can relate to it when it's wide open. Oh boy, Shib, that is a Rumble comment, my dude. And you said, and you had the cojones to say that over at YouTube. God. Oh, you guys are too much. That's why we have the best community. By the way, if you're new here, you guys, I know all my supporters' names, by the way. They're always in here. That's how I know them. There's not many viewers, that are content creators that know like their audience. I know my audience. Like Shib is literally from the United Kingdom. I know where he lives. Like you have Jeff. Jeff lives in Pennsylvania. I know where everybody is. We got people that live in Alabama. We got everybody here. Like 1969's a freaking paralegal. Been calling her a man for years. Turns out it's a woman. Yeah. Got Jason. I mean, we got everybody here. I know Danielle. We got CC. I know all of you. His servant. FDLR. Yeah. I know everybody. Dixie. Misha's new though. Misha, you are new. I don't recall that name, but I do know everybody else in here. I know Dizzy. I know Mizzy. I know Kreger. Fizzy, Dizzy, Izzy, Fishy, Shizzy, Monizzy. Oh, Dizzy. Dave's here. The good Dave. Miriam's always in here. I know everybody. Well, folks, I think we'll call it there. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours. Again, I would love for you to join our live show. We'll be live tomorrow morning, January 2nd, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for our normal broadcast. We'll have updates on what's going on here. We'll bring you the latest and greatest. And if you could, hit that like and subscribe button. Check out our website, baldbrad.com. We also have a book here, Trojan Horse. I am an author. Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America. Would love for you guys to pick up a copy on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If I could find it for you. Here we go. Love for you to pick up a copy. This is my book. A link is in the description for it. Trojan Horse, if my internet wants to work here. And you can get it on Kindle. I'm trying to see if it's on sale right now, but it's a phenomenal read. It's 5 stars, you could see. And a lot of people seem to like it. So I want to plug that. It's a great New Year's gift. Florida Panhandle, first timer. Hey, thank you, Moto. Good to see you. Appreciate it. I hear good things about Florida. I think you might even move in there one day. Make sure to get a commercial while he's talking about what's really going on. Mainstream media. Yeah. So here you have the book, folks. Trojan Horse, How the Left is Destroying America, written by yours truly and me. And there's the hardcover, which is 35% off. There you go. That's what I was looking for. And then paperback, which is really good quality too, 21% off. So you can pick yourself up a copy. I'll put the link in the chat if you guys would like. Again, it's a book that I would want to read. I'm not going to write a book that I wouldn't enjoy. I'm a registered nurse from Washington State. It's now a new California bleep hole. Shelly Bell, you are correct. Absolutely, yes. Typo, not sure if important. Brad, here in California, they are going to start paying us solar guys prevailed wages now in 2025. I just want to tell the other states, not sure why, not sure if it's impossible. Well, we'll have to see, my friend, but glad to have all of you join us nonetheless. Thank you so much, everybody, for choosing my channel to get the up-to-date news on this horrific terrorist attack that's taking place in New Orleans and potential another one over there at Trump Tower. So stay up to date, follow Fox, follow me on X. I will post updates as the day goes on, and we'll be back here tomorrow morning here on The Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots. Thank you so much.